Welcome one and all to the extremely special 50th episode spectacular edition of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. You may be thinking right now, what is your damn name? Tell me your name and I will tell you, because you're asking. My name is Turbo Tony. We are here. I don't do this alone. I have a partner in crime. Over 49 episodes preceding this one, my partner in crime is big, sexy Kevin Matt. Yeah?
Oh.
You like that?
Blown a quad out just thinking about it.
Yeah. Oh dear. We're not even into the podcast yet. How many quads will you break? How many quads will you tear?
How many quads have I had? Like, I don't have that many to break.
So as you guys have guessed, we've built this now. You have obviously already listened to the special intro. It won't be that lengthy every single week, guys. That's just for the 50th episode special, and we've been hamming this up for ages in regards to that. But we do have a new intro. You've seen the new graphics, a completely new paint job over the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. We hope you guys enjoy it all. But what about this episode? What about the 50th episode spec-bloody-tacular? What have we got for you? We've got wrestling news. We have 4 fan feedbacks, 3 fail of the weeks, the Raw review, and a We Were Wrong, We Were Damn Wrong segment at the end of the show. I'm ecstatic. I've been waiting for this show for ages. But first, before we begin, how are you, Matt?
I am very good.
Very good.
And yourself?
Yeah, I'm very, very good. I am drinking beer. I have a 50th episode balloon, surprised by my wife, who gave me a barrage of snacks and other little things. So, yeah, I think we're going to treat this more like a more laid back, almost like our Let's Talk More Wrestling, but obviously on a big 50th scale. What are you drinking, Matt? Tell the fans what you're drinking.
I almost feel classy. I'm with Goldschlager and Coke.
Oh, wow.
It's the only thing I had that was alcoholic, and I was like, I did shots the other week. I still have that left over.
Which got you slurring at the end of it. I'm pretty sure that I'll be a little bit drunk by the end of this podcast. So, but why not? It's the 50th episode, guys. And before we begin, there's going to be a lot of thank yous to you guys who are listening to the podcast. And we'll start with here now. The only reason we hit 50 is because you guys have been supporting the show so well. So we want to give you a big props. As you can see on the picture now, you've got the Twitter handle if you want to follow that at TalkWrestlePod. It's on there now. So Matt's been bugging me to put that up on the new graphics. So it's there. It's there. It's out there. So we're in a great mood, or are we? I'll tell you what. Part of me is in a good mood to be doing this, and a part of me kind of realises that our fans probably already know the reason why you and me, Matt, maybe aren't in the best of moods with a certain World Wrestling Entertainment.
I think it's true to say that we're slightly annoyed.
Slightly annoyed, yes. So we're going to be going into a lot of the reasons why WWE screwed us. And Vince McMahon can't work that around and say, oh, LTW screwed LTW. No, you screwed us. Definitely you screwed us.
Yeah.
But as we said, we've got a packed show. Lots of stuff to get through here this week on the 50th episode. And just to remind people, in 2 weeks is our year anniversary. And then a couple of weeks after that is the Best of 2014 awards show. You guys are getting treated the next couple of...
It's going to be a busy few weeks ahead.
Yeah, for us, but you guys just get it all. Yeah. Goodness, that's what it's all about.
You just have to listen.
That's it. Let's get started, Matt. We've got plenty to get through. No more procrastination. Let's get into the wrestling news of the week and the big story, which has broken. And it does affect us. Because, as you guys know, we stated at the end of the conversation, we were going to review the network. Awesome stuff, right? It was going to be launched. Okay, it's going to be launched. Me and Matt, we're going to watch a bunch of stuff, weren't we? We had it all planned out, all these pay-per-views.
Oh man, loads was ahead of us.
Yeah, we were going to give you like all this awesome stuff. 30 minutes before the network was due to launch in the UK, WWE sent out a tweet on their Twitter handle stating that they would not be launching the network, and it has been postponed.
Actually, change your plans.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we thought. I was ready. I was waiting to purchase it as soon as it hit 8 o'clock, which was the day.
That's it. Like a mate of mine was just literally like, "I just went to get the network. What the hell?" It's like, yeah.
And they didn't say why. They didn't give you a date of when it was going to be released. They just told you it ain't going to happen. 30 minutes before. It wasn't as if it was done on the day. Maybe earlier on in the day they advised people. 30 minutes before it was due to launch.
Yeah.
That 30 minutes is very pivotal, because I'm going to go into the reason why the drastically different things. Imagine if they actually had launched it, and maybe they didn't get word from Sky that they weren't happy with it until after it was launched. All of this would have been different, and it wouldn't have been better for WWE. It probably would have been worse. But we'll go into that now, right? So you may be asking, okay, so why was the network not launched in the UK? Why is it still not launched to this day, a week after it was due to be launched? Okay, it's down to one company, a company that I have worked for, Sky TV.
Yep.
They have the rights, as me and Matt and any British wrestling fan know. If you're going to watch WWE, it's a Sky channel you watch it on. If you watch a pay-per-view, it's on Sky Box Office. They are the vehicle that WWE used to get their product into the UK market. So they've been in bed with Sky for a long time. You know, I can't even remember a WWE not being on Sky. That's how long they've been in business with them.
No, that's it.
You know,
I mean, even when even like World of Sport was like, there was no WWE on it. It's just like, so it's kind of just, yeah, I can't think of anything.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the earliest memories I have of watching professional wrestling was on Sky Box Office. That's how long it is, and you know,
Yeah.
as much as I like to say, oh, I'm only 20 or 21, I'm a bit older than that now, so you know, I've been watching it for a very long time, and you know, it's been all that time. So they've got this long-standing relationship with Sky. Here's the issue, right? So I don't blame Sky for this. I don't. Even though they are the reason why this happened, they're not to blame. I don't blame Sky. And for people asking, I'm not currently still working for Sky, so I'm not backing up my employers because I don't work for them anymore.
It's not bias.
Yeah. Sky are, and for my experience working for them, they are an extremely methodical, well-planned, and organised company.
Yeah.
Okay. So they must have been advised. They probably didn't even know that this WWE's plans are planning to launch a network that was free and undercut the pay-per-views that Sky themselves were actually putting on their channel. So look at it from Sky's point of view. WWE are launching a network which is free this month. That's immediately. You may think, oh well, it's, you know, the money doesn't go directly to Sky. Some of it does, so they are missing out on that. It's also the time slots. You know,
Yeah.
all that show, Raw, all the extra shows, the pay-per-views, they're all time slots that Sky can use to get what they need. You know, in terms of, you know, revenue, getting their own sports out there, filling up their time slots to something that obviously will work for them. Where is the problem fault here? The fault, I can tell you who's to blame. It is WWE.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to place the blame that way.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just like, oh, we have contracts with this company. Yeah, let's see if we can just do it anyway.
Yeah. I don't understand how a massive corporation that not long ago WWE had $1 billion to its name, doesn't anymore because their stock tanked, but $1 billion to their name, can make such an asinine mistake that I would associate with the likes of WCW and TNA.
Yeah.
To not be in constant conversation, constant feedback with Sky, who have been done very well by them by the main. You know, they've never tried to undercut Sky. They've been very good with WWE.
That's it. It's not been like WWE and Sky have had a TNA Spike sort of relationship where it's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna if I want you guys on my channel anymore. Like Sky are literally like, I want WWE.
Yeah, they've always stuck by them. Yeah, even in WCW times, did Sky jump on the WCW bandwagon? No, they didn't. They stick with WWE. And it was during that time, you know, that I was watching it. And you know, if you wanted to watch Nitro, it was TNT. If you wanted to watch WWE, it was Sky. That's the way it was in England, at any less. So the reasons why it's WWE's fault. They obviously did not realise and they didn't advise Sky of their plans, which is a stupid mistake. Sky obviously got in contact with them, maybe on the day that the network was due to launch, and told them, fuck off, we're not doing this, we're going to lose a shit ton of money, you're undercutting your own partners, you morons.
Yeah.
And then WWE were like, well, I don't know what to do. You know what? Well, we'll make you happy, but we'll say fuck you to the UK audience, which is exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Now,
long and short of it.
Yeah. Now, how does Canada bring into this? Man, this goes all over the place. Canada have a network not unlike the US. It's not the same, right?
Yeah.
And this is the reason why it goes wrong. Canada shares, across its land, roughly the same time periods. If not, it's a couple of hours off here and there, right? Much easier to catch their Raws. All right. So they have a channel. They don't have the back catalogue, but for them, while it's not ideal, they can still catch Raw at an applicable hour. Okay.
Yeah.
And all their stuff, airs at the same time that WWE wanted to air. In England, it airs at 1 o'clock in the morning and finishes at 4 o'clock in the morning. As a
Yeah.
channel, that will not work over here. We
No.
need the back catalogue. We need to be able to watch our pay-per-views the day after, or at a more respectable time. We need to be able to watch Raw at a more respectable time. Cater to your UK audience. I can't believe, Matt, you and me look back, and we did point the finger at WWE and say, look, you don't really cater to your worldwide audience that well. But to the UK guys, we get it a lot better than everyone else. When it comes to the network, we've got it worse than anyone else.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially considering to the UK, like, you're going to be waiting longer, okay, and you think you're going to get it? No.
Yeah. Now,
What?
I don't know about you, Matt. You're probably on the same boat as me. We obviously we do this podcast. We're very proud of this show. We want to give you guys all the all the stuff that comes from the network to be able to review it to you. We'll make I make this sound as if it's like really bad, but we will make the sacrifice and I will purchase it at the sake of being able to review it for this show. If I didn't have a podcast, I'm telling you right now, I would not purchase the network in that form. As a channel, because
What in what will essentially become the WWE Network Lite?
yes, I think that's the best way to state it. It is network light. I technically WWE have already done a WWE channel. I had it on my phone years ago where I could watch matches whenever I wanted. It was like a channel on my phone that I could watch. And while this channel would obviously be better than that, so you some exclusive content maybe and pay-per-views every now and then, but still, this is a massive step back. So essentially, Sky have told him, no, you're not doing this. They may still have a very long-term contract with WWE, and so WWE are like, okay, well, let's do it. The way WWE now, they still want to get a network out to us because they're losing money. They still are. If they don't get the network out in the UK,
I'm really shocked. I really cannot wait for Raw.
Yeah. Well, in the UK, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Which is Monday.
Yeah. Woo. So yeah, essentially what they're saying now is that we said before that we were worried that we were going to get a Sky WWE channel. That looks like exactly what we're going to get.
Yeah.
All UK fans, take this as a big giant middle finger to you. And looking at the fact that WWE planned this so stupidly, 30 minutes before it was meant to launch, and then they realised they couldn't do it. Vince McMahon launched an apology video to UK fans reminding us, that the network is worth waiting for. And we fucking waited a long time for it, mate. And you're not giving us the full network, so I doubt it. But it reminded me of this. I don't know about you, man. Did you watch the apology video from Vince McMahon?
It served no purpose. It's like, we're working on it. Well, I should fucking hope so. Because we at the WWE appreciate our UK fans. Well, I fucking hope so. But it's just like, it's essentially a 1 minute video of Vince explaining we're working on it, explaining the "we're working on it" tweet.
Yeah, and he had the face of a man who just basically got told
Just got told off.
Got told off by Sky. Yeah, essentially. Yeah. And you know what? I know that what I'm gonna state here. It was a much worse issue, but it was something that was mean to shit when they had the massive BP spill. And you had, the what was his name? The main guy who was making the British guy. I know. Yeah. So people know here. I mean, South Park ripped it to shit, so you can see it on there. All I'm waiting for is some English pissed off guy to auto tune the shit out of that, and I would play it all over and over again. I'd play it on the podcast. I really would.
It's like the one thing I quite liked is I saw the show with An Idiot Abroad. The bald guy, Carl Pilkington. It's just like, because on Raw, they were like, oh yeah, the WWE Network has like a 90% satisfaction guarantee. And then just underneath there's a picture of that guy just going, bullshit.
Bullshit, yeah. Yeah, come on. That's why I say I bring up Canada, because apparently the channel, WWE channel, that's what I'm calling it in Canada and the UK when we get it, is apparently it's a massive success in Canada. So in some place you could blame them because they're taking to it so well. Apparently they love it over there, but it doesn't work the same. There's different time zones. You can't launch the same thing in Canada and launch it here. It just doesn't work.
No.
And I know you've got DVRs, but realistically, they can't really think around along those lines. I mean, technically, if they're looking, DVRs,
If this is going to be the case, my DVR, I may as well just get a second box dedicated for this network.
Yeah, and it's no issue. Like it is really stupid. It makes WWE look unprofessional. Makes them look amateur, really amateur in terms of business. That they actually, it looks to me as if they got their wrist slapped by Sky and said, "You can't do it this way." And WWE,
But I wanna no. Oh.
So that's what we're getting. That's I think unless something very big changes and Sky goes for some reason decides, okay, do what you want to do, and they cease, whatever they do with them, which I doubt it. These contracts have long-term repercussions. Then we're getting the WWE channel, not the WWE Network. Now we could unblock it. I don't do that because I run a lot of stuff through this. I need this IP address, so I can't go through along those lines, and nor would I want to. You have to pay for that service. I just think it's a massive fuck off fail. In about 50 episodes, you know what? We might do a fail of the week. That might be the fail of the week. 30 minutes WWE before it was meant to launch. I think they should be ashamed of that, personally. Let's move on. Oh, just a closing statement on that. Every single time on our Raw review, where we review every segment of Raw, when they state an advertisement for the network, I'm going to say, fuck you, WWE.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of that. So get ready, guys.
Oh, yeah, especially considering, what's that? After, on the network, because it's free. Fuck you.
Yeah. Oh, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Rusev, who graced our cover this week. Anyway, better news. I watched NXT this week, man.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, you watched the Finn Balor's?
You're damn right I did.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Oh, man. Two things I have to take away from NXT this week. Obviously, we get to Finn Balor. But, man, it's really refreshing to watch some really decent female wrestling down on that show.
What match was it?
It was Charlotte and Bayley against Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. Tag team match. Charlotte, by the way, she has the makings of a female ring general. She looks like when she gets up to the main roster, and we say this every time we get too hopeful, so I'll try not to, but when she gets on the main roster, she conducts herself in such a way that she's almost like she's got the ring presence of her father without all the annoying little side bits that come alongside, like the drinking and all this other crap that Ric Flair has. And it's ironic, I thought, this might blow your mind, ironic that Charlotte looks like she will be the heir to the Flair throne when you look at the likes of David Flair in WCW doing all that garbage and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I say kudos to the girl. I honestly think that Charlotte is their best bet in terms of leveraging the Divas division, and I say best bet, I don't think it will happen, I say it's their best bet.
Of course it won't happen.
Yeah, of course it won't happen, but man, she looks like a champion. She conducts herself like a champion. When she's in the ring, she looks like a champion.
Definitely.
And that can only go well for her. So, and the other three women that were in the ring, I think they've all got, I say, bright futures. As long as they stay in.
It's in the WWE women's division. There's no bright future.
It's a sad state of affairs. Like, we're scared for them to go up there, and I am. I don't.
We were like, yeah, Paige is going to get up there, and Emma's going to get up there, and it's fucked.
Yeah, we look at Emma now. Emma was on the show this week, and whenever I see her on, I just get sad. I really do.
Yeah.
So much potential lost. Anyway, this is awesome stuff, right? For guys that I think they won't mess up. Okay, so NXT the last couple of weeks, I thought since they've debuted Hideo Itami, I think they've done absolutely nothing with him.
Yeah, they played him weak.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shock to me. I thought they would go all guns blazing with the guy, but it looks like this is the result of that this was the plan all along. And if it was, I'll give WWE the benefit of the doubt. It's only them starting out, okay?
That's it.
But we haven't seen any proper match with Hideo Itami yet. Not really, to see him go in a very lengthy match. However, he's getting beaten up last week, so this week he brings down a friend of his. He says he's going to bring a friend of his because he's been running and getting decimated by the Ascension each week. And Prince Devitt, who will now also be, or who will be named Finn Balor.
Finn motherfucking Balor.
Yeah. Came out without his paint, but we've said here on the podcast that he shouldn't come out with his paint at moments like this. It should be pay-per-views and specials. That are the only time he uses his paint. That's my opinion. Are you still on the same opinion?
I'm in the same opinion.
Yeah.
I think, even though, we're seeing online, the matches where he's, I feel like every time he just comes out in a different... And whilst it does look good and it looks original, I think for WWE, just give it a purpose.
Yeah. I like... The guy, it would be different if that was his only thing. Look at the Boogeyman. He ain't gonna be selling any tickets without.
Do you know what thing? I saw the Boogeyman listed in one of the top 20 worst gimmicks ever.
I can understand why some people would think.
He's
a guilty secret of mine. He's a guilty favourite of mine.
Definitely. But it's it was along the lines of remember WCW's Sub-Zero knockoff.
What, the Kiss? Oh yeah, and the Kiss Demon and stuff like that.
He was in there.
Yeah.
But no, not the Boogeyman.
Yeah. He was there for a reason. It wasn't as if he was elevated to main event.
The Boogeyman.
Yeah. But here's the thing with Finn Balor. Without the paint, he still looks like $1 million.
He looks, even then, because there was that bit, because I've seen on YouTube, they put up a little bit where they were doing the stalling drop kicks into the corners and things like that. And when he steps over Connor, the biggest one,
Connor, yeah.
And it's just there's the arms out a bit, and it's yes, I'm fucking loving this.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that the guy is, and get your head out of your ass, oh, you're so gay, Tony. The guy's a good-looking guy, right? He's got a good look. He's not short. He's got the physique.
Yep.
You don't need the paint on him every single week. He's good enough, and he has a good enough look without it, that you can make the paint something special on a special. That's what it's about. But I thought that he had a really good... I liked the way that it was done. He walked out very slowly and the camera was on him, and the fans were all into it.
And from what I heard, Tensai was Albert. What was he going by now?
What was his name on here? Jason Albert is his name.
That's it. He is going by Jason Albert. Yeah. But it's just really playing it up.
Yeah.
You were all in for a treat, and it's too fucking right I am.
It's so fresh to be watching that announcement team talk about the match that's going on in the ring. It's very refreshing. And that's what the NXT guys do all the time. They don't go, well, let's talk about the network, and let's talk about this, and let's talk about this, and let's talk about this, and stuff's happening later on, talk about John Cena. They talk about the match.
Yeah.
And it's, maybe sometimes they're not talking about the moves in the ring, but they talk about the people who are currently in said ring. It's very fresh to me. I really like that. Renee Young's getting better, by the way, on commentary. I just want to make that note.
Yeah.
She's getting there. She needs more time, a lot more time, but she's getting there.
Patience.
She will get there. One other thing before we move on. I just want to state, 1 hour of NXT is so much more digestible than 3 hours of Raw.
And it's so much better.
3 hours is too long. Just way too long. This 1 hour show, I just thoroughly enjoyed it from start to finish.
It's got Regal as the GM, so I'm loving it.
Yeah. Okay.
Even if he did call me a div.
Yes. Do you want to go into that story, Matt? It's the 50th episode. Spectacular.
And it's nearing that sort of time.
Oh, it is!
It was around the Remembrance Day when they were doing their UK tour. This was a few years ago. There was a bit where Wade Barrett and Regal were backstage, and I spotted that Barrett had his Remembrance Day poppy. I couldn't see one on Regal, so I tweeted it. Just go, good to see someone remembered. Regal? And then he called me a half-wit div, and apparently he had one on his lapel, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. But sorry, to your credit
Regal.
then, Matt.
But the fact that he replied, and I was like, yes.
But to your credit, you couldn't see that on TV. So...
Yeah.
Each to their own. Yeah, maybe you did have the poppy, but I'm not. I've got your back, man. I just want to, get that out there. Yeah. Okay, so
when one of our mates actually framed this.
Really?
Reply tweet, yeah.
Oh god, I didn't realise that. Didn't you get a message back from Turin Terrell or something along those lines? Back in your Twitter days?
Yeah, talking about how why Cena sucks, why Cena constantly winning is bad for business.
Hmm. Well,
Eh.
yeah. Moving forward.
Question?
No f***ing questions.
Big time fan feedback for you guys this week. We normally do one question of the week. We told you send in as many as you want, and we'll collect them all. We have 4 this week from you guys, and they're from some of the most supportive guys that have really helped the podcast get to the level that it is now. So it just seems right to be able to answer your questions and to include you as much as we can in the show, because really appreciate the feedback. And at the end of the fan feedback, myself and Matt are going to talk about why we're happy about the podcast and stuff like that before we go into the fan of the week and everything along those lines. So, questions. The first of 4. You may know this name a lot. It pops up a lot in our comment section. Asking questions and his feedback for the show. Thomas Miller.
Mm-hmm.
He asks us, whereabout in Britain do we live? I'll answer first. I don't live in Britain.
Yeah, that was easy.
Yeah. I actually live in Cork Island. I am British, as you can hear from my voice, but I left the country long ago to go marry.
He abandoned us.
Yeah, to go marry a beautiful woman, and there we are.
Abandoned.
Yeah. But what about you, Matt?
I'm down.
Your door number is no.
Yeah, my postcode is south.
Yeah.
Southeast.
Yeah, south.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, man, that's fine. Say as much as you like. So, his question is in regards to whether this is a bit. I like the question, but obviously what happened this week, it kind of makes it a little bit redundant, but I still know where you're going with this. His question is regarding whether Rusev is going to win the United States title. As we knew this week, he did.
I knew he would anyway.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it anyway. I said quite a few weeks ago, I can't remember the exact episode number.
Not good enough.
But I said earlier on that he should have won the belt a long time ago. He should have been defending this belt, building up more heat. It would have made the belt a lot more relevant. We're going to go into a lot more about Rusev and Sheamus towards the end of our Raw review. But I do think that it should have happened at least a couple of months ago. It's not as if Sheamus has done a lot with that belt since winning it.
Yeah. It's just something that he can come out carrying.
Yeah. And it was going to happen eventually, wasn't it? It's got United States on it. If they had the United States ring post, Rusev would have walked off with that by now, along those lines. So, yeah.
I beat your best Americans. I take this home.
Yeah. But yeah. And from what we've been hearing, all this great work they have booked Rusev very, very well. In terms of getting heat. Yeah, it's cheap heat. We keep hearing that, but it's good heat. Heat is heat. And they've built him up, and they protected Rusev. He's still unbeaten, but he's going to get fed to Cena. So all that work for nothing.
Oh well.
Oh well. But regardless of that, I know we could have had a very interesting conversation about. Obviously, this week we'll answer a lot of that question. In the Raw review, because it did actually happen. But we would like to say, Thomas, thank you very much for supporting the show. It has gone noticed. So,
exactly.
There you go. Second question. Maurish Moore asked us if we watch TNA. I know that Maurish joined us quite recently over the last month or two. And has asked
not anymore.
Yeah. So, as you may not know, because you joined us most recently, I did actually review TNA for about 3 months. Roughly.
You know what? I actually watched some TNA this morning.
Oh, okay.
It was like how WWE have like Afterburn or something like that.
Yeah.
And like TNA have their own sort of that, and I was watching it this morning, but I was really confused because it was like an X Division title match with the cables, but in a 4-sided ring.
Okay.
And then after that, it was like the highlights of Bobby Roode versus Lashley.
Oh, for the belt, because Bobby Roode
for the
won
belt, because Bobby Roode's champion.
Yeah.
But I was like, but why is this? I mean, I kind of hate watching, catching highlight shows, because and then this, because I'm just looking at it and just like, that seemed like a terrible match.
Yeah.
But it might have been really good, but it's just like the highlights, and 2 of it was Kurt Angle getting hit.
Yeah.
And he sold him like he was a stick.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you just got you just got a little bit of a splash in the corner, and you're selling it like you're dead.
Now he's not in the ring, Matt. He's got to sell it like a referee. Just flop on the floor.
Like a gutted fish. Yeah.
So Yeah, as I said, Maurice probably doesn't know. I did actually review TNA. Would you say it was about close to 3 months I reviewed TNA, didn't I?
Oh, geez, yeah.
I tapped out. I did.
Yeah.
I tapped out. I had to quit. Go back. I would recommend this episode. I do know there was an episode that we called possibly the worst show in years. It's one of our more popular episodes we did, and I went ballistic on an especially horrific episode of Impact. I still reviewed TNA after that, but it was never the same. They had about 3 or 4 weeks of just horrific, and I mean really, really horrific shows that were just really bad.
I mean, there's actually one video in there somewhere where I did a review.
Yeah, I remember that as well. And you weren't too keen on it either, were you?
That was Hardcore Justice.
Yeah.
Oh.
What was it? And I said one of the rising stars I think they could build around because he's got an intriguing backstory. He's got a great look. Is Gunner. And when I see what they've done to him now, and basically made him a therapist, I just shake my head and I wonder what the hell. Why? Why would you? I just don't know. They've made a lot of mistakes, and TNA to me at the moment reeks of a dying company. It reeks of it. It doesn't have a TV contract dealt to it. We keep hearing rumours. Apparently they've sorted one out, but we never hear any hard evidence of that.
Yeah.
And believe me, if they signed a contract, if they signed a TV contract, they would announce that on the spot without question. They would not hold it back. They can't. They have to. They have to release the information. And you hear about people. You know, I was there with AJ Styles leaving the company. You know, like sort of Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, like mainstays, staples of TNA. And I go and watch their British boot camp, and one of their British boot camp episodes looks like they're in a dank closet somewhere with a mini ring. It doesn't spell good for them.
I will admit, I saw one of them and I was like, I think I've trained in better facilities.
Yeah. And that's saying something. Me and Matt trained in local rings that, you know,
in a scout hut once.
In a scout hut, yeah. Exactly.
I say once.
Yeah,
a lot.
A lot, yeah. So yeah, it's just it reeks of a dying company. And when it looks like a dying company, when you see shows where you can blatantly know that half the arena isn't full, it hasn't got no one in it, and there's no crowd reactions, and they're forced to go onto the road, not that because they want to, but because they have to. I don't want to waste my time with a show because I'm not sure if it's going to succeed.
There was a bit that I felt really bad because it was actually watching that highlight show where it's like there was like Bobby Roode gets up into the corner, he does his arms out, and it's like I am rude, I am best. Yeah. But I was like, I know full well that you're actually facing the side where there is no one.
Yeah, there is no one there.
You're facing camera. That's good, but I know there's no one there.
Yeah, that is. I mean,
there's just a cameraman just waving at him.
How bad must that be for the wrestlers go out there and try and cut a really passionate promo, and when they're looking at the most emptiest arena, you know, no one is there except for, as you say, one guy with a camera who's giving them.
It must be really difficult because, like, you want to turn around, and you want to look at the crowd and see their interaction. But it's just like I've literally just got to go with what I can hear is going on behind me. Yeah,
it's really bad. Now, every now and then we see a show. They had a show, about a month or two ago that was packed to the rafters. It had loads of people in it, and it looked good. But every now and then, you just know that camera is locked, and it's locked for a reason because they can't move it because it will show a massive empty arena.
Yeah,
and it is.
I have a guy at work who's a big TNA fan, and he almost slates me for being a WWE fan.
Well, we slate WWE our fair share, you know. Yeah, but fans of wrestling.
My choice isn't going under.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but like there has been times where it's just like, but you need to watch this, and I was like, yeah, and I watched a little bit, and I wasn't impressed,
and it stunk. A lot of the stuff that they do does stink. So the wrestling though sometimes can be sublime, but the presentation of the show, the marketing of the show, is just so inept, so lacking. And this makes so many rookie mistakes. Rookie mistakes like launching a network 30 minutes before it was released. But WWE did that this week. Fuck you, WWE. There you go, you're going to get a lot of that. One thing that Maurice also said, that apparently he had tickets for the show, WWE show in Dublin. But when he left the message, it seems like he probably would have already been there by now. And if you have, mate, let us know how it was. We'd like to know. Hope you had a great time. You've been to a live show in England, haven't you?
I've been to a house show, yes.
A house show, yeah. Me and Matt are hoping, fingers crossed,
to to get to TV tapings.
To get to TV taping sometime next year. So that should
WrestleMania Revenge Tour.
Yeah, and we can do what's it? We could do a review up there or something. It'd be awesome.
I think
my dream
may have to get a hotel room that
Yeah,
night,
yeah.
especially like this week's it's in Liverpool, so it's like if it's Liverpool, I'm not driving back.
Yeah. I'd probably just get like a plane from like Liverpool over to somewhere in Cork or something like that. But here's the thing. My dream for this podcast, ultimately, to be able to do it, is to be able to do it live at some sort of event. I would love to do it maybe at a local wrestling show where there's a lot of people. I would love to record it while an actual show is happening. We've got people coming and asking us questions. That's my dream. That's the ultimate dream for this podcast. Maybe one day we'll get there.
That'd be good.
That'd be cool. So yeah, thank you, Marish.
We will have to get T-shirts made.
Yes, of course. So yeah, thank you, Marish. I know you're new-ish to the podcast, but you've been very supportive, and we appreciate that as well. Third question. Man, this is a hard name to do, and I'm sure that you understand. Man Ricky Tobacco 1. Oh, actually, that was quite easy.
That didn't seem too challenging.
Yeah,
for
that
you.
was pretty good. Yeah, I haven't even practiced. So
you had that little once you get the flow going.
yeah, that's it. So you've asked us a few questions before. Thank you for supporting the show as well. But your question this week is an interesting one. I will state. He asks whether we believe that SmackDown will return to some form of glory, and if not, how long will it stay around for, and will NXT replace it as the de facto B show on the market?
Ooh,
Interesting one, isn't it?
interesting one. The worst thing is, I think even though trying to get 3 hours of Raw, WWE are trying to kill us, but. What it looked like that Trick or Street fight that Ambrose and Cesaro had actually looked like it could have been quite good.
It looked like it could be a bit of fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but no, I'm not going to go watching SmackDown.
No.
Unfortunately, it sounds really bad. I have a life.
Yeah, 3 hours is just. I find that some weeks it gets very close for us finishing the show and able to get the podcast out, and it's because it's a 3-hour show. That isn't the reason why.
I finished watching Raw about an hour ago.
But that isn't the reason why we don't watch SmackDown. It's not because we don't have enough time. It's because SmackDown as a show is irrelevant. That's the best description for it. I tried to find a very good description of SmackDown. It is irrelevant. Which is the key, ultimately, to its downfall. You don't need to watch it. You won't miss anything from missing it. We haven't, from 50 episodes of this podcast, missed anything on SmackDown. Because anything that's important enough on SmackDown will either be replayed or redone again on Raw. So we don't have to go watch SmackDown. And we haven't had to, as I said. That's the reason why we don't do it. It is irrelevant. To me, and I don't know if you agree with this, and I can understand why a lot of people disagree, but to me personally, and I know SmackDown is the B show, but to me personally, NXT is the B show now.
I will go as far as I will still say that NXT is the C, but I don't see it getting involved.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean personally, right? Because I would much rather want to watch NXT any day over SmackDown. So I understand.
Yeah, so you're essentially putting it as the B show because it's a different change. It's a change of pace.
Where
you've still got the main roster on Raw, you've still got the main roster on SmackDown. So you've got your A, your B, and then NXT is its own entity.
Yeah,
I don't count it in amongst anything. Okay, so sometimes, I know recently Titus O'Neil's been around, and occasionally, a guy will come down and just go, "Oh, look at all these puny young ones," and then they'll feud a little bit. Cesaro, Sami Zayn, which gave us a match of the year.
If they're in a match that's going to top that soon, that may get our match of the year on NXT. Just in general, that was phenomenal.
But I don't see NXT getting involved as it's into the whole overtaking SmackDown for the B show.
Yeah. As we said before, while Vince is alive, NXT has a ceiling as far as where it would go. It being on the side, not on TV, is probably the best thing for it, to not have those challenges. They've got developmental, not just people wrestling, they've got developmental backstage workers there,
Yeah. That's the one thing I quite like, is the fact that it's all developmental. It's not like, when we brought this guy who's been a cameraman with us for 15 years. No, he's been here 15 days.
Yeah, and he's learning the ropes. And some of that can be fresh. NXT you know, for as much as TNA reeks of a dying company, NXT reeks of freshness. It reeks of awesomeness.
Yeah.
5-second pose. I actually did hit in my chair right there. The beer's getting to me, guys. The beer's getting to me
It's
already.
terrible, because you know what the worst thing is, so did I.
But the benefit of those with flash photography, of course.
That's it.
But yeah, it reeks of fresh. Every week it seems fresh. And I might be seeing the same. I've seen Charlotte wrestle before. I've seen her wrestle a bunch of times since she debuted.
And
But
I
she
will
still
happily
seems fresh.
watch it again.
Yeah, I'll happily watch it again. It's you know, I've seen a bunch of Adrian Neville matches, Sami Zayn matches. Sami Zayn had an amazing match with Tyler Breeze this week. I've seen that match. I've actually seen Sami Zayn against Tyler Breeze
I've heard that's
twice.
a good match.
Oh yeah, but I've seen that twice already. But it still seems
And?
fresh. Yeah.
That's it. It's just like, and?
Yeah, it. So yeah,
To be fair, there is only so many times that I can see Baron Corbin just come in and go, oh, flip, done.
Yeah, there is a bit of that.
But he's got a massive following.
Yeah, man, he's got over pretty quickly. You know, for
Not bad for a guy that I saw got squashed by the Ascension.
Well, you know, can't reference that now. He's been rebooted. You know. Here's the other question that I think this is the real question for Oliver, because all the other stuff people know our thoughts about that, but we may not have answered this question before. This is the reason I like this. Do we ever believe it will go back to the glory days? And when I think glory days of SmackDown, I think of the likes that had legit exclusive talent like Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, The Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar.
Are we referring this to sort of the branding?
Yeah. I mean, that's the glory days.
Back in the day of the draft and things like that. I love the draft.
Yeah. And a lot of people would go, oh, the glory days of SmackDown are the early years when you had, like, you know, Austin and Rock could be able on both shows. I can understand what they're saying there, but personally, to me, SmackDown felt special when it had those, you know, I think those four are big four. Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, you know, in his early prime. Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, giving you classic wrestling matches all over the place.
Yep.
And they had.
I mean, even early
talent.
days of Edge.
Yeah, all of that.
Or even
show.
the later days of Edge.
Yeah. So, do we think they'll ever get back to there? No, I don't think it ever will. But does that mean I don't see the show sticking around? How long will it stay around for? I think it'll actually stay around a lot longer than people think.
I think it's got more life in it than we give credit for.
Yeah, it's not so much that it has, you know, it's not a fresh show like NXT. It's not a relevant show like Raw is. It's a mediocre show that doesn't matter much, but it is long running. People still watch it. You know, a few people still watch it.
Well, it's now the second longest weekly episodic, isn't it?
Yeah, and WWE loves spouting that stat. They are not going to give that up easily unless that show.
What's that? Everything on Sci-Fi is our bitches.
Yeah, like, you know, WWE are not going to let go of SmackDown unless it tanks, and it won't tank. It will stay roughly the way it is now, you know, for a couple of years, and then maybe, you know, it just gradually slips until it goes into obscurity. But WWE do not want I can guarantee you, WWE, at the end of the day, they look at money, right? They want to make money, even though sometimes their asinine choices with the network make you think otherwise. They want money.
Fuck
right?
you, WWE.
Fuck you, WWE. Right?
There you go, I got it for you.
Oh, man.
You nearly missed it.
Yeah, you got it for me, man. That's it. So, you know, if SmackDown starts costing them money and they do need to rebrand, of course they will do it. But it's not as if it's not as if they're gonna rebrand now because SmackDown isn't making as much money. The only time they're gonna change it is if they absolutely at the bottom dollar need to, because, you know, they love that stat of it being the second longest running TV show. You know, and
That's it.
A rebranding doesn't necessarily mean that show is going to get any better. It might mean it actually gets worse. So,
yeah.
And WWE aren't known for taking risks in the modern era, are they really? So that's my thinking of it, though, in regards to SmackDown. It's just going to stay the way it is for at least, I'd say, a good 5 years more. And we won't review SmackDown for another 5 years.
I think the days of the big giant fist are over.
Yeah. They actually did a episode where, you know, they do this show with Joey Styles, where he goes into the warehouse, and they had the SmackDown fist there.
I saw that, yeah.
That. And they went through the stats.
All the many coffins of the Undertaker. I remember that one as well.
Hey man, they obviously bought like 28. You know, was it like those obviously he probably streaked 21, 22 different coffins just for his last WrestleMania match that he had. Bonkers. So yeah, that's our answer to that question in regards to that. And I do like it was very thorough in regards to SmackDown. But no, it won't ever return to any form of glory. It will stay the way it is. And, as Matt so eloquently put it, NXT is probably better off not being their B show, because then it doesn't have WWE's grubby mitts all over it. Or their creative team has their grubby mitts all over it.
That's it.
Best being the way it is. In fact, I would like the guy who books NXT to get a lot more credit. Maybe his name needs to come out, because man, that show is just
Bravo, sir. I wish to buy you a drink.
You know what? I doubt it. But even if it was the same creative team, which is not completely out of the realm of possibility, a 1 hour show is amazingly easier to book than 3 hours of television.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's just the bottom line. Another fan of ours didn't leave so much a question, but I picked up on it recently because it was quite funny. We said that we were sick of the Usos and Goldust and Stardust matches. Robert Chapman is his name, and he left a funny remark regarding, they're having a cage match with each other on SmackDown.
Yeah, I know.
So,
but unfortunately, we've also got to deal with them with Goldust and Stardust feuding with Los Matadores. Great. I'd actually probably prefer the Usos.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they're going for a multi-tag team match at
Ole!
Yeah, Ole. But that isn't really the issue. Goldust and Stardust versus the Usos, that isn't really the issue. The issue is they have no one else to go against them. They've had to resort to Los Matadores and Miz now with Miz. It is a really shallow pool. And I defended the tag team division a couple of weeks ago when, Matt, you said it's not good at the moment. I said, well, actually, no, it's a lot better than you think.
It's got stagnant again.
And
like a couple of years ago, they were like, the tag division, let's fucking kick it up a notch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and now it's back to where it was. It's just like 4 randomly formed teams, and they're just throwing people against each other.
Hell, they don't even have Slatergator anymore.
Yeah. I mean, if they hadn't fucked up the Wyatts as bad as they did, then maybe the Wyatts would be another big team, to be involved in.
Definitely.
Along those lines. But they messed them up. They really did. And now they haven't got the likes of the Shield and all their other good groups. They've all disbanded, and rightfully so. But it's so thin. Man, that pool is very shallow. I think that's the real issue, really. Is me and Matt, we are sick of seeing Usos against Stardust and Goldust. But what is the alternative? There isn't that much there, really.
Welcome to my way of thinking.
Yeah. So here we go. That's our 4 questions for you guys. Thank you very much for leaving them there. And we love all the comments that you leave for us and all the feedback. And, feel free to answer any more questions going forward. Don't stop it here now. We're on a roll, guys. Keep sending us in the questions. We're more than happy to give our opinions on it. So this is going to be a small moment for myself and Matt to explain why we're really appreciative. And what the podcast means to us is a little bit of a thing. I wanted to put this here with a fan feedback. It just seemed right. And then we'll go back on to our usual thing, our 3 fails of the week and the Raw review. Do you want to go ahead, Matt, and say how proud you are of the podcast as a whole? Or?
Of course, I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing I find it quite funny is the fact that we still get people like I've received from tweets, and it's just like, can my channel get a mention, please? No, we got here on our own. You get there on your own. But I'd really like a mention. It's like, no. Because it's like some people take their podcasting really seriously, and whereas like with us, we've been friends for, considering neither of us remember when we actually met.
So
we'll go on we'll go on the 12 to 14 year sort of mark.
Yeah.
Train together, travel together, and all of the such, and it's just like, it's this. Where some people it's like, this is my podcast, and this is I'm just chatting with a mate.
Yeah.
Meh.
Yeah. I mean, that's talking about stuff like that. Is that I always find that anyone that wants to do that one shout out, so everything along those lines for their own show. That's the wrong way to go around it. Look at why your show could be good. That's what me and Matt did. That's the biggest piece of advice that we could ever give to anyone who's doing their own podcast. Just try and make your own show better. That's what me and Matt did.
I mean, we sort of say how we're loving the Bray Wyatt reboot right about now, and guess what? This show is a reboot.
Yeah. A lot of people know that. We did this show before the 50 episodes, but we decided to reboot it because we wanted to have a brand new slate of how to, had a vision, shall we speak, of where we wanted to go. And the reason why we don't let guests onto the shows, because as you imagine, me and Matt, 50 episodes worth, we've got a rapport, as you say, 12, 14 years, we don't know how long, it's a very long time, over a decade worth of me and Matt, driving to wrestling shows, driving, not only just to wrestling, but to, everywhere, in regards to that. Matt is my best friend, that's why I do the podcast with you, and obviously you've got a great knowledge of wrestling, so it always helps.
Yeah.
So, we've got a really good rapport. Adding anyone else into that, I've done podcasts before where there just isn't chemistry. And it is a really awkward thing to listen to. So that's the reason we don't have a lot in regards to that. But yeah, if we've got any advice to state to anyone starting their own podcast, just don't try and get shout outs. Try and bring your own audience in. I know it's really hard. It really is. Like, you just got to keep going. Just keep getting
Hell,
through.
I'm just getting people just like, this week we discuss hashtag WWE Raw.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. So, what the podcast means to me, I don't want to get too sentimental here, but it is the culmination. When we look at the stats now, myself and Matt, we do look at the stats. 135.6 subscribers. I'm not sure exactly where it is there. We get almost at 100,000 minutes watched. We look at all this other stuff. That stuff didn't come easy. We had to work really hard, and obviously from support of our fans as well, supporting the show and showing around. Really appreciative. Obviously, we said that before.
Of course.
But it's the hard work that both me and Matt put into the show, and to see it work off so well that you guys really enjoy the show, there's no better feeling than that in terms of absolution of the show. It's vindication of how much work we put in, and to see that you guys enjoy the show, that's what makes me happy, in regards to that. I know that sometimes our opinions clash. It's an opinion show, in regards to that. Opinion podcast. We can't review everything without unbiased nature or anything along those lines.
That's it.
We're human beings. But it is a really cool feeling to know that all the hard work, and it was a lot of hard work, especially in the early, I'd say the first 30 episodes were hard work. Just me and Matt have never asked for plugs. Me and Matt have never asked for handouts from any other podcasters. We've just got to work every single week. Just got to work, pages and pages of notes. And we just worked really hard, and we're really happy. Makes myself and Matt really happy when we get feedback from you guys saying that you enjoy it, and even feedback from you guys saying, okay, actually, these are bits that I didn't enjoy. We're like, fantastic, awesome, we'll work on that. We love working on the podcast. So
that's it.
That's what the podcast means to us. We're really glad that the hard work pays off, and we're not stopping now. It is the 50th episode extravaganza spectacular. We ain't going to stop here. We're looking at 100, 150, 200. We're going to keep going.
Oh, first birthday in 2 weeks.
First birthday. There you go. It's our birthday.
I'm going to get cake.
Yeah. In fact, that seems like a good point as any to open up my second beer. So, let me do that now. As we move on, I can multitask quite well. I'm not that drunk yet. But yeah, we want to say again, just thank you to all the fans of the podcast. And what a better way to reward you for all your work than to give you 3 fails of the week, baby. Are you ready for this, Matt? Are you ready? You're excited, I can tell you are.
I'm curious.
You fucking love these fails of the week. These fails of the week are all slightly related to one another. And they all involve Vampiro. You remember Vampiro from WCW?
Do.
More recently doing commentary for Lucha Underground, which I watched recently. Looks quite different. I actually quite enjoyed watching the main event, which they put up on YouTube for free, so I appreciate that. Can't get it where I am, but I enjoyed what I could see.
Yeah, but it's there, nevertheless.
Yeah. So before I go into it, these are 3 fails involving Vampiro, or more importantly, Vampiro's blood. That may sound a bit cryptic. They had a gimmick in WCW that Vampiro could apparently summon or birth falling blood from the ceiling that would fall. It would land. This is the plan. It would land on wrestlers and render them incapacitated. They wouldn't be able to. They were just knocked out, and whoever they were wrestling could pin them. And get 1, 2, 3.
Like the green mist.
Yeah, except it was more like just
ceiling.
bosh. It was like pretty much like a splatter of instant sleeping medication. Donk onto the floor, right?
Yeah.
You think, oh, okay, wrestling was a bit weird during that time, especially WCW.
As we mentioned earlier with their Sub-Zero knockoff.
That's it. So, 3 fails that involved this blood, okay? The multiple times that they got this wrong, it's actually very surprising that they continued doing it. And Vince Russo, couldn't be the 50th episode without us bringing him up, could it? He's got his grubby mitts all over this stuff, so here we go. Vampiro. So, first issue that's wrong, this is the earliest one. Sting was covered in the Vampiro blood during, a Nitro episode. Which is fine. He was, did his own knocked out stuff, in regards to that. So he sold it. That was fine. The issue is, Nitro was on a Monday night. Thunder, I believe, was on a Thursday or a Wednesday, one of those days. So it was still a couple of days afterwards, right? Sting appears then on Thunder, still covered in the blood. This brings up 2 things. This means that Sting, 1, wouldn't have changed his gear since Nitro, which happens on a Monday. And 2, he decided not to shower for the multiple days during Thunder. Maybe he just likes blood on him, maybe, I don't know. Or, getting sweaty in the ring, doing, a lot of wrestling.
That's it.
Maybe he just likes the smell. I don't know. Either Sting is a dirty bastard, or whoever came up with this idea was a bit stupid. Fail number 2. On Thunder, this is a more hilarious one. The blood was meant to hit big sexy Kevin Nash. As I said there, Kevin Mash. You heard that at the start of the show. Apparently it was supposed to render him useless, incapacitated, if you will. Like I hope these beers will eventually lead me to at the end of this podcast. It, however, missed him. It missed him entirely, and did pretty much the unthinkable, because you just can't do this to your fans. You know where I'm going. It basically just covered the first row of fans. Right? Obviously the fans didn't sell the blood, because they're like, what?
Just like, the fuck?
Yeah. The camera cut to Nash, who was like, he just looked puzzled. He didn't know what the fuck to do. He didn't know how to get himself out of the situation that he was in. Here's the hilarious bit. Juventud Guerrero, who was wrestling him, the camera cuts to him, and the guy is pissing himself with laughter. It's the funniest thing he's ever seen, and he can't stop himself from laughing. As if it's the funniest thing, and I agree. Soon after that, much sooner than you would think, Nash had a match in which Vince Russo intervened. Russo got his grubby mitts all over this. The blood fell, as you know, and it missed again. Just missed Nash, right? Nash then, okay, he's thinking, at least here I can kind of fix it. So he kind of shimmies over towards where the blood is going, gets himself bloodied up, knocks himself out, renders him incapacitated. He's completely useless, fresh for the pin. However, Russo was also splattered with the blood and no sold it.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the whole power gone. Well, here's Russo.
Fail number 3. It keeps going. So you think, at this point, they fucked it up 3 times, right? 3 moments of this. Maybe you can't really count the Sting thing. So maybe 2 big fails that they've had up to this point, both involving Kevin Nash, right? They fucked it up twice. Maybe they think, well, actually, we can't guarantee that this will work. Maybe we need to go down a safer route. It's making the company look bad. No, this is Vince Russo booking this shit. Do you think that went through his mind? He's like, let's do it again, except I'm in the match this time. Okay? He's wrestling Ric Flair in a steel cage. So...
For some reason,
because it's Vince Russo.
Yeah.
He wrote an open letter to WWE this week, by the way. It wasn't in our news because I didn't fucking read it. We've got no time for the guy. Except for Failure of the Weeks, of course. So, you're thinking, right, Russo... He's involved in a Kevin Nash match. He's now wrestling Ric Flair in the ring. Surely this guy was supposed to be head of creative. You're right. And he booked himself to become a WCW champion. Just think of the creative we have now. It could actually be worse. Could you imagine that?
Oh, that's true.
Not much worse, but still.
No,
Um,
there's the capability of it being worse.
yeah, that isn't the fail. So the blood falls, and it's supposed to hit Ric Flair, who's got the figure 4 leg lock firmly locked on Russo, right? But it misses again. Third time it's missed, right? So while the blood, sorry, it doesn't miss. I've got this one wrong. The blood actually first it fails to fall. For some reason the contraption or whatever they have to make it fall didn't work, so it malfunctioned. Whatever, right? It didn't happen. The blood didn't fall. So Ric Flair then has Russo in the figure 4 leg lock for a period of close to about 5 minutes. Right? So Vince Russo...
I'd love to see Russo walk after that.
Yeah, like Russo, who is not a wrestler, apparently can survive in Ric Flair's figure 4 leg lock longer than any wrestler on that damn roster could. And we've seen guys instantly tap out to the figure 4 leg lock. But apparently Russo just doesn't damage him. 5 minutes he can hold off in that thing. Eventually, it works, it hits Flair and, knocks him out. Russo beats Ric Flair in the ring, which I know would piss off a lot of people. That would be a fan in itself. But come on, it completely devalued the figure 4 leg lock that a no wrestler could survive 5 minutes. And not to mention it was a boring 5 minutes of him just being in the thing, waiting for this thing to work. So, Matt, I would state, at what point would you have stopped using the falling blood gimmick?
Miss number 1.
Yeah. So the first Nash one, you would have stopped
Yeah.
using it. Okay, fair enough. I probably would have done the same. If I was forced to use that gimmick, I would have used it anyway. But
no. I'm pretty sure between the pair of us we can actually book a bit smarter than that.
I think the moment that it hit the front row of fans, that's the moment we go, fuck that, we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, definitely done.
Yeah. But
it's like, that was just a malfunction. One more try. Okay. Definitely no.
So that's our 3 fails of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I tried to pick a doozy for the 50th episode. When I just think of the stuff that flew in those days, imagine that happened now. People would just laugh WWE or TNA out of the building. They really would.
So...
Yeah, that's it. That's the main reason why WCW went to shit, because when stuff went wrong, they kept doing it. That's the main issue with WCW.
That's it. If in doubt, go again.
Yeah. Oh, it didn't work this time, the fans fucking hated it. Well, you know what? Let's do it again until they do. Or the other thing is, we've got the NWO, one of the biggest storylines in wrestling history. Let's just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And make everyone sick of it. Let's do that. So, no wonder they went down the tanker. Anyway. Raw review. Man, I think this is the longest we've ever gone for good nature without getting to the Raw review. It's going to be a bumper podcast, but come on, people expect this. The 50th episode. So we'll get through the Raw review this week. This Raw this week had no John Cena.
Yay!
Yeah, some people were happy with that, myself included. He was apparently doing some movie work in regards to that. He was in the vicinity of the area, but he was flying all over the place. Apparently he had multiple flights in different areas over the course of just a couple of days. So, guy was very, very busy. Obviously too busy to actually be on the show.
That's it.
What annoyed me about this is that WWE felt it was warranted to offer refunds to people who wanted them. Now, I understand some people may have...
It was they only offered them to, within, you had to get up there in, the first 20 minutes of the show starting.
Yeah. I understand. Some little kids and everything, they may have only gone to the show to see Cena, right? And I understand that. It's not the fact that they offered refunds that annoys me. In fact, fair enough to him, Maybe a little kid was very excited to see John Cena. He only wanted to see John Cena, so, he was unhappy or anything along those lines. What annoys me is that WWE has put some of these fans in the position that John Cena is the only guy they want to see.
Yeah.
If John Cena's not on the show, it shouldn't be the end of the world. You shouldn't have to offer refunds. You should have 3 or 4 other stars that people would pay to see.
That's it.
I mean, to me, that is, but,
Well, come on, how long have we been saying, Cena being the only guy is terrible?
It's a ticking time bomb. If that guy breaks his leg, or, God forbid, something more... Well, I'm touching wood now. Something worse happens to the guy, because he's a good guy. I don't want anything bad to happen. But let's say something did. WWE, for the short term, are fucked. Yeah, you really are. Because they've put all their chips on one guy. And we've obviously gone through this in regards to that. But I mean, WWE has absolutely no faith in anyone apart from Cena to lead a show. And when I look at the likes of Seth Rollins, who looks main event at the moment, when I look at the likes of Dean Ambrose, who's trying to establish himself as a main event star, if I were Randy Orton, I'd be a little bit pissed as well. You know, I mean, I know he's the heel, but he's coming up as a face, but you know, people would still want to pay to see this guy in the ring. I just like the fact WWE put that in that position. This was the first Raw that was meant to be available in the UK via the network. Fuck you, WWE. We all know, you know, how that eventually turned out, but this show was from Buffalo, New York.
I'm sorry, but every time we have Buffalo, New York, and I'm just like half expecting someone to go, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Oh dear. Here we go, Matt. I promised you, and I promised our fans, that if the Authority continue to keep opening Raw, that I would go back and I would look at the amount of times they've opened Raw and do some stats for you guys.
Yes,
okay?
you did.
They have done that. They have done it, and so have I. Here are the said stats. Now, they're from the last 30 shows. Reason being is I can't believe the first 20 shows how I'm very meticulous now with my notes. I was a little bit less so with the first 20 odd. So I thought, okay, first 30 shows, you know, last 30 shows is a lot better. So I went from the last 30 shows. The good thing about this is that the last 30 shows are actually from WrestleMania 30. So this goes from WrestleMania 30. Okay? It fit in quite nicely, right? 22 out of 30 shows were opened by Authority members.
Jesus.
2 stints of these were 9 shows in a row and 7 shows in a row. The longest amount of weeks that we went without an Authority member opening the show, and this is in a segment, not in a match. I waived matches that Authority members were in. Okay, had to be a segment. All right. Was 2. You had 2 weeks that I think it was John Cena opened up the show instead. That means
that's crazy. This
is the ultimate number that since WrestleMania, 73% of the time Raw will open with an Authority segment. Yeah,
crazy.
There's some pretty damning numbers. I think the one that's is worse is that the 2 stints of 9 Raws consecutive Authority opened the show, and then I think it was only about 3 weeks after that the 7-week stint occurred as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. One thing,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is crazy, isn't it? But they pushed my hand, did they not? They pushed my hand.
They did. But technically it was a Vince segment.
No, Authority was still in there. I still count it.
But it was Vince.
Still.
It was good old Vinnie Mac.
Vinnie Mac. Well, fuck you, Mr. McMahon. Your apology for the network. Fuck you, WWE.
Okay.
So
you have no chance.
No. Well, no chance in hell.
If that's what you've got.
Yeah. So, yeah, as you said there, Matt, we had a very rare opening here by Mr. McMahon, the Mac Daddy of the WWE. And he's flanked by Triple H and Stephanie. He plugs the network for $9.99. Fuck you, WWE. And that will be free for November. Fuck you, Vince.
That's it.
He wants to raise the stakes for Team Authority and Team Cena. He says he beat the US government and he beat Ted Turner. He didn't mention beating his own daughter in a match a few years ago, but that's all water under the bridge, of course.
Let's not go there. I like how he mentioned like he had even tried beat God.
Yeah,
it's just like I remember that
tag team against God. He still has a
one. Just like when they was in the church, he was like, just splash this water here.
It was like what was it? He's doing his fake praying. He's like, God, I don't like you, and you don't like me. I really like those promos that he did. For a little while. That's when Vince was at his that and the Austin stuff, just gold. He states that if Team Authority lose at the pay-per-view, then they will lose their power.
That's it.
That's it. That's the entire promo.
Done.
Bye,
Vince.
Yeah. He was. You could have blinked. You could have gone on a piss break, and I wouldn't blame people for going on piss breaks, considering the stats on how often the Authority open Raw, and you would have missed the guy. So, Yeah, a rare, fleeting appearance by Vinnie Mac here. But there is an upside to this. I'm trying to stay happy. It's the 50th episode, even though we're going to be cursing at WWE a lot throughout all this. Is that there was a match within 5 minutes of the show?
Yeah, there was.
Awesome. I'll give a thumbs up to that.
So not a grand delay.
Yeah, not a grand delay. Just before the match with Dean Ambrose and Cesaro, there was a little small backstage segment. Vince, he semi-apologizes to them for surprising them, and then, as we said, just leaves. Just gone.
Yeah, just done now.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Dean Ambrose against Cesaro. So they had, as you stated earlier on at the SmackDown match, their trickle street fight?
Trickle street fight, yeah.
So, yeah, again, because SmackDown's irrelevant, they decided to, have Dean Ambrose against Cesaro again.
That's it.
On this show. Ambrose shook Vince's hand on the way to the ring. You'd be forgiven for thinking that might lead somewhere, but I don't think it will. So.
I think regardless or not, that's your boss.
Yeah. He's the one that cuts your checks.
That's your boss. That's Vince McMahon. Like, I think it's safe to say I'd shake his hand.
Unless you're Austin, of course.
Unless you're Austin. Then flip the middle finger and stun him.
Yeah. Or, Shawn Michaels back in those times, diving off the top of ladders and elbow dropping him with a can on his head. But let's not go into too much into that.
Yeah. This is modern day, damn it.
Shawn Michaels is a wizard, by the way. Anyone that can get a close to 5-star match out of Vince McMahon, he was special, wasn't he, Shawn? Very special. So here, every time I hear commentary plugging the network, I was very close to turning off the show, but I realised it's the 50th episode spectacular, Tony. You have to do it. So that's when I came up with the idea that I was going to say, fuck you, WWE, every single time I come up, to curb my own rage. And I would invite anyone who's in the UK to do exactly the same.
Hopefully the girls weren't around for this.
No, they were in bed. They were fine.
Okay, cool.
I'm a good father. Even WWE can't make me swear in front of my children, so okay. There we go. Plus I'd get, trashed by the wife, and I'm not going there.
She would beat you.
Yeah. She was nice to me. She got me a balloon and snacks and beers, for the podcast today.
That's it.
So, yeah, here's one thing, Matt. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this match, because while I thought it was okay, I also thought it was boring.
Yeah. I didn't think this match actually gave. I was sort of waiting for it sort of to step up a notch. And it never did.
Yeah. I was the same. It just seemed like it was slowly building to a crescendo, and as you say, the crescendo never happened.
Yeah. I was like, are we going to get like this another deadlift superplex and things like that? It's like, no, we're not going to get that.
Now, a reason for that may be the fact that Cesaro was legit cut on his head, which required staples backstage after the match. Did you watch that video?
The one thing I quite like, it's like, what's that? WWE's PG, yeah, but let's show you the very graphic video of Cesaro getting his head stapled together. PG, kids.
It doesn't even matter if you put it in black and white. That was graphic. I watched the same thing. Yeah. So get them out around that. But yeah, man, during the Attitude Era, you'd get tons of they would air that stuff on the show. People getting the staples and shit put in them and stuff like that. So,
I'm pretty sure after what I can only describe as probably the bloodiest WWE match ever, Eddie and JBL.
Okay.
They showed him backstage. And just like, shit.
Yeah. He's getting sewn up and all that shit like that as well, yeah.
And he's just like, was that a white sheet on the bed? Not anymore.
Yeah, it's just fucking
blood.
Yeah. But, Cesaro here would probably legit cut. So maybe maybe that's the reason why they slowed it down. I know WWE are very much against it. Immediately, as soon as Cesaro donned some small semblance of a crimson forehead, a referee, got his
gloves out. The thing is, no, that's not quite true, because I noticed he's bleeding. The ref's not gone for his gloves yet. It took him ages to sort of actually reach for the gloves. I was like,
yeah. But as I said, they cut to commercial during this match.
And it's when during the commercial break, Cesaro got bandaged back up again. Well, what a shock.
Yeah. They don't want blood on the show at all, and they made that very apparent. But yeah, it was a bit of a boring match. It really was, and maybe Cesaro being cut earlier on is the reason for that. But we can only review what's in front of us. We do hope the guy gets better, of course. Bray Wyatt appears on stage after the match, which Dean Ambrose...
After the match? Tell us
during the match, yeah. So he's... apparently, here's the odd thing, Matt. I don't know whether you got this as well. when I watched this, I'm sure I was supposed to see him appear, but the advert, like, cut it out. Well, did you have the same thing as me?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, it
Yeah.
works here.
It was almost like it looked like they were building up to him appearing, and then they were going to get an ad, but it kind of went too early. So when it came back, it wasn't as if, oh wow, the lights went out and then suddenly he appeared. He was just there, and
Yeah.
it was like,
Hello, I'm
okay,
great.
yeah, it had absolutely no effect to be honest. Ambrose gets the win with Dirty Deeds, which is now the Future Shock DDT, the double underarm hook DDT. But yeah, that's the only thing. And one of the other things as well that I think I could book this match in terms of being a little bit boring is Dean Ambrose against Cesaro. Dean Ambrose has beaten Cesaro. Well, he beat him up last week and then beat him on SmackDown. And Cesaro just gets beat by anyone.
Yeah.
Everyone. I would probably give Zack Ryder a good shot against Cesaro at this point. I know it's a little bit too much, of course, but yeah, he's just booked as
Speaking of Zack Ryder, he was here.
Yeah. He wasn't booked much better, though, was he? But yeah, Cesaro being booked like a loser. It's not as if I expect Cesaro to actually have a chance of winning this match, even though he's very good at making you believe that he can. Cesaro is a loser.
Cesaro needs to get back on a streak of just dominance.
I feel so bad for the guy. I really do. It all looks so promising. It really did. I mean, in terms of who's had the worst year between him and Daniel Bryan hasn't been in the ring, so he hasn't taken damage to his character. Cesaro's just been made to look like an absolute loser.
Chump.
A chump, yeah. Jesus Christ. Backstage,
especially considering where he was at Mania.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Up until Mania, everything was looking cozy for the guy. It looked like he was going in the next direction. And then he got paired up with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman is poison to anyone that isn't Brock Lesnar. And
I will not have that said.
I'm going to say outright here.
Punk.
It's controversial. Yeah, Punk as well. To anyone that isn't Brock Lesnar or CM Punk, Paul Heyman is poison to them. Whether it's whether it's Paul Heyman's fault or not, that's irrelevant. He is poison to them. Anyone he's been paired up with, apart from those two guys, he has damaged. So, and he did it to Cesaro. And then, like I said, it's not his fault. I can guarantee you, it's not his fault. It's the way that they told him to keep going out there. But just look at Cesaro now. It's so much wasted potential. Anyway, backstage, the Authority are arguing about Randy Orton. Steph doesn't want him in the team, but Triple H says that they need the best team, obviously, now that they're facing being removed from power. And that involves Randy Orton because he's, RKOing everyone from out of nowhere now. As usual.
That's it.
Just a segment involving Orton. This just sets it. It was the Orton show this week. When Cena's not there, they put him in there and at least gave the guy some very good character development on this show, and I did enjoy that anyway. Jimmy Uso against The Miz. Miz now doing his thing at ringside. This made me wonder. I wonder when The Miz goes home after a hard day of work, and he's got a beautiful wife. Maurice is his wife, and they're, getting into bed. They're making love.
Are you implying that Mizdow may be at the window mimicking the whole thing?
I'm not stating that. Maybe
it's like, no, that's nowhere near what I was going through.
I am stating that while Miz is making love to his wife, maybe Mizdow is engaging in a very passionate affair with Vacant.
Vacant?
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. He imitates everything the man does. Maybe when he takes a poo.
I mean, he put Vacant in the figure 4 leg lock one night.
Yeah. I mean, we've been missing some classic matches between Vacant and Mizdow on this show because they now they're keeping the camera more towards Sandow, but just give the guy a match against Vacant in the ring already. Come on.
That's it. I just thinking Family Guy. See my son wrestle the Invisible Bear.
That classic thing of what Triple H always used to say about Ric Flair. Ric Flair could wrestle a broomstick and make it a 5-star match. Well, apparently Mizdow can wrestle nothing and have a better match than some of the matches on Raw. So a lot of the Divas matches, at least. But let's not go there.
Not yet.
So yeah, Miz gets the victory after the stunt double mix-up. Miz now tries to get into the ring and act, and then kind of causes a mix-up. A quick and painless match, but it wasn't good.
No,
that's a review of that match. You didn't really see
Done.
much. It just sets up the multi-tag match that they're having at Survivor Series, the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match.
Yeah.
Sheamus against Tyson Kidd. They announced Sheamus versus Rusev for the United States Championship, exclusive on the WWE Network. Matt, you can take this one.
Fuck you, WWE.
Yeah. However, I think that you would be happy about Tyson Kidd being on the show. I know you're a big fan.
I was happy about Tyson Kidd being on the show, but then I was also just like, well, I just let him be a actual character again, rather than just like, and here's Tyson Kidd. Everyone knows that he's been having marital problems with Natalia. Oh, look at that! He threw Natalia in the way. Oh, what a silly bastard!
I bet that you would have been on the same track of, oh, he's in the room with Sheamus. Okay, we all know where this is going.
I was originally thinking that Kidd was going to lose. Yeah.
As you say, though, gets a victory, uses Natty as a distraction, gets the count-out victory. Sheamus being the sore loser he is, bro kicks.
Oh, Sheamus being a face, he blindly attacks a man for being beat.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the very face thing of Sheamus to do, you know. He could have cracked a really bad joke as well while he was there, but, you know, thankfully
he probably did, we didn't hear it.
You just didn't hear it, thank God. However, I have shown my wife Finn Balor and stacking him up next to Sheamus because she fucking hates Sheamus and she's Irish, right? Man, she's happy that there's another Irishman on the show. That
she approves of Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn Balor. So yeah, Sheamus being the sore loser that he is. That's just it. Yeah.
Kicks a poor man in the face.
Kicks a poor man in the face. While he wasn't looking, as you stated, just look, turns around. Natty didn't even seem like she didn't mind being used as a distraction.
Yeah, she complained last time.
Yeah, exactly. Dolph Ziggler comes out to the ring for a match. He gets the entire authority coming out, Orton admitted, of course. Stephanie McMahon says that she's ecstatic for the stipulation of Survivor Series, and Triple H begins a speech saying he doesn't mind if Ziggler joins Team Cena, and then kind of plays a few mind games with the champ in the ring.
I quite liked this promo.
Yeah, I actually thought it was okay. I think Triple H was actually on good form.
But it's like, but if you lose, is it going to be Cena who takes the fall? But if you win, are you going to get the credit? It's like, clever.
Kind of plays off people like us that are like, you know, well, yeah, if they did win, Cena would be getting the credit for that, you know.
That's it.
And if they did lose, the commentary would be like, oh, you know, maybe it was just that he just
maybe
wasn't good
Cena
enough
just picked some bad people for his team. Yeah.
Because you know Cena can do no wrong, and when he loses, it's not his fault. Or it was just
the sun was in his eyes.
Yeah,
his shoelaces were untied.
So
apparently, Nikki Bella's pregnant, and he was distracted.
Yeah. Or maybe she got another boob job or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be distracting enough.
Yeah, exactly. As if they were distracting enough already. Yeah.
Apparently, they've added more fabric to her cleavage in the WWE 2K15 game. It's like, this isn't PG boob enough.
Let's just add an extra layer of clothing onto that. So basically, as you said there, he questions if Cena loses, will he take the blame? I will know. If Cena loses, I can tell you exactly what he'll do. He'll hop onto Raw next week with a big smile and do a joke. Because that's what he does after every loss.
And then he'll go, all I have to do is pick myself up again and carry on fighting the authority.
And unleash the beast inside.
Loyalty, respect, blah, blah, blah.
And was he going to unleash the beast inside? You're going to see a John Cena we've never seen before. We've seen a lot of John Cena's,
all
apparently.
that jazz.
Yeah. Tripp says that Ziggler busts his ass more than anyone on the roster, but Cena gets the credit, and there's a glass ceiling that he can't break through. Did Triple H listen to our episode about NXT last week?
I think he's one of ours.
I think he's one of ours there. I think maybe when we were talking about glass ceilings and Vince won't let people go through the glass ceiling, that is John Cena, even if they're going to. Maybe. Tripp says that Ziggler should say no to Cena, and then he'll get anything he wants. Anything. But Ziggler says the only thing he wants is the authority gone. See, when they tease Ziggler going heel, I can kind of buy into it, because the guy's been heel before, you know. He's not exactly out of the realm of possibility. When they tease Cena going heel, there's just nothing there. So,
it's like, not buying it.
Yeah. Tripp sets up the Dolph Ziggler against Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship right now. They had that match. Commentary are talking about how the network is free this month. I won't say fuck you, because it's not free this month. It's unavailable. Fuck you, WWE.
But the thing is, it's free this month if you haven't subscribed yet. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, great! So fuck you to all the people who are already paying.
Indeed. So yeah, every
Like, I feel
time.
good. I specifically stayed up to watch this match.
Oh really? Oh.
Yeah, no, because it was like I was watching it late last night, like just trying to catch some Raw, and then I was like, I probably should go to bed, and it's going to be now. It's like Seth Rollins to Ziggler. I can
Yeah.
stay awake 15 more minutes.
Yeah, of course. But you know, I feel bad for Ziggler and Rollins here, for me, because they plugged the network just before these two guys are about to wrestle.
Yeah.
That got me pissed off, right? So I'm getting a little bit biased. So putting that all aside, this match, albeit a bit short, is hella decent.
Oh, yeah.
It's Ziggler and Rollins. You know, you get on the
Yeah,
team.
can you expect anything like else?
Yeah. And you know, if there's a match you want to see on the show, and like I said, you know what you're going to get with Ziggler and Rollins. 9 times out of 10, you will get a very high class match. Put them together, they're going to give you a high class match. But it just was a bit short, unfortunately. That's the only thing to go from it. Rollins looks like he's about to win the belt. He actually gets the curb stomp on Ziggler, and then out comes Orton with an RKO out of nowhere.
And you know the one thing I noticed about this match?
Go on.
This match is still going.
Yeah,
I never heard the bell ring.
that's my next point. That's my
And
next
it's not
point.
like the referee didn't see Orton.
I thought maybe, because it's the Authority, the referee doesn't know what to do. Maybe, does he ring the bell? Does he continue? I don't know. I don't want to get fired. Maybe they could have done something like that. But then they just didn't ring the bell, and then the match just sort of ended. Just like, okay. So as you say there, Matt, Dolph Ziggler against Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship is still happening. We hope there is a
That's it. It's now gone into 24/7 old hardcore title rules.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I just thought that was really odd. I'm glad. I thought when I missed the bell, which there wasn't a bell, I thought maybe I just missed it. Since you brought it up, I'm like, yeah, there wasn't a bell. Come on, what's going on there? But still. So yeah, if anyone can tell us who won that match, just come and tell us. You know, because obviously it wasn't a DQ, it wasn't a pinfall. There was no bell. So,
That's it.
Still going on.
We don't know who won.
What an epic! Someone say these two guys, you know,
Going at it. What's now more sort of far exceeding the record. You know, we're talking hundreds of hours of constant match.
Yeah, they just won't give up. They'll just keep going until well, they'll just forget about it.
To the bell.
Backstage, Stephanie is saying that they can't trust Orton. Orton busts in. He says he wants Rollins tonight. He said he should go and fight for Cena, as the Authority didn't want to deal with Rollins. Triple H busts out. One hell of a speech.
Another good one.
Yeah, the best on this show. And you know what's about this? This was booked in a very soap opera way, very face to face. Him kind of getting all of this out there, but I actually enjoyed it. I thought Triple H's speech here was really good. He basically goes on saying that he needs Orton in his team, that there's no going back from where they are. They need to win. You know, and he really got over that fact. He really felt as if Triple H he's putting everything on the line, and he needs Orton on his team. He just did really well. Orton, on the other hand, he's going 1,000,000 miles a minute. I appreciate the intensity, but slow the fuck down. Don't go from the other extreme, from going, my name is
Randy Orton. So my name is Randy Orton. I want the Rollins.
Watch what Triple H did, right? He cut a really good promo that was neither really quick or really fast. It was intense. It was straight to the point. I get it. I like the fact that Orton seems to have a little bit of a fire lit under his butt. You know, he seems to be trying a little bit more now. But just don't go 1,000,000 miles a minute. That's 2 weeks now. We've seen this guy just go. Rah, 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 rah. Okay. Let me hear this and get it in first. Okay. Maybe he's afraid people will what him, but Mark Henry gets that for everyone, so that's fine.
That's it.
A Luke Harper promo, a weird one, which is good, with multiple eyes all over the place. I thought this was good because it was a different style of creepy from what Wyatt is doing. Wyatt is still creepy, but he's more... I like to think of him as more competitive looking now. Like he's going to have matches and beat people, hopefully. Whereas you can still have Harper have matches, but he's a different style of creepy. You know, he's more creepy. Wyatt is more psychological. I think that's probably the best way to
Yeah.
differentiate the two. So yeah, just loads of his eyes all over the place, stating that I'm piecing myself back together and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited for Harper to come back in. I think Harper can go places in terms of the in ring. He's on par, if not better, than White is in the ring. But so, yeah. Big statement there, I know. Big statement.
Ability, yes, but ability to tell the story,
No. No, I agree with that. But in terms of actual in-ring ability, be able to pull off a really high-class match, I actually think he's a couple of notches above Wyatt. But not to say Wyatt's bad. I think Wyatt's brilliant, especially when he works with someone that really can get over what he's done. The only contender I think, personally, just off the top of my head, for Cesaro and Zayn is Wyatt and Bryan at Royal Rumble earlier on this year, a match that doesn't gets forgotten because it was at the start of the year. That, to me,
yeah.
I'm going to go back and watch that match because that was a fantastic.
And do you know what? It'd be really easy to have done that.
Yeah.
You know, we could have done this.
What do you mean?
We could have done it for a fee. We could have gone back to Royal Rumble. Could have watched it on an old.
Yeah, maybe if there was some sort of service, if it was released here, we could go back and watch. Lots of pay-per-views. I would like to spend something around the region of less than £10, $10 maybe.
Fuck you, WWE.
Fuck you, WWE. Yeah. So that's essentially stating it there. But yeah, I will be going. I will try and find somewhere. YouTube's got it somewhere, I imagine, to go and watch that.
Oh yeah.
Titus O'Neil against Ryback. Titus apparently telling us how he's. Is that Goldschlager getting to you now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking so much. I'm trying to fit in the beers between them. Give me a moment, guys. I'm going to drink my beer. Good beer. Okay. So Titus tells us in the middle of the ring that he's telling the authority that he's going to win for them. That he's going to show them how to win. He actually showed them how to job. So maybe he wants to get.
I wouldn't go as far as to say this wasn't really a job.
It wasn't really a job
because he got.
Well, technically, he did a job to Ryback. He did lose to him, but I get what you mean. Yeah.
It's not like a squash match.
It wasn't a squash match, yeah. But it was a quick one. But as you said, Titus had some decent offense. In fact, Ryback was on the back foot the majority through the way through this. So,
but unfortunately, I realised that Ryback is kind of like Cena.
How's that?
He kind of has the moves of doom.
Yeah, he does. But I would much prefer him go back to a winning formula than what he was doing before, any day.
Yeah.
At least now he's somewhat enjoyable to watch in the ring. I know it's, I like seeing this Ryback. A part of me does. It's kind of like a throwback to the old style of squash matches. And, yeah, they're never going to get Ryback as a main event guy. He will be on Team WWE, Team Cena at the pay-per-view, I can guarantee you. That's where they're going. Even though the authority was scouting him. He's not going heel, and nor should he. He shouldn't go heel again.
No, not at all.
Just go.
The crowd are chanting, "Feed me more." Let them chant it.
Yeah, feed him more. That's our advice in regards to Ryback. Feed him more and keep him the way he's going. Backstage, Renee Young is with Big Show. He places his tongue firmly upon John Cena's butthole. I had to do it, guys. I had to do it. It's the 50th episode.
He did.
But he did. He was just, John Cena is the greatest, and if he needs,
like, I'll be so happy to be part of his team.
Yeah. And he will be, but considering Mark Henry will be part of Team Authority.
Oh, it's too predictable. Like, just fuck all the current storylines. Just get people just who have no reason to be on either team.
Yeah.
Just like, do you like the Authority? Yes. Do you not like the Authority? No. Good. Join my team. At least
Big Show's got some sort of history with the Authority, with all the stuff he was going through. It was a painful
story. Yeah, and they
referenced
it.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you. Them adding all these sort of mid-card...
Oh, what's this? Is this a current storyline where it's now going to be part of the main event?
Yeah.
But it's not really going to solve anything in the main event? Nope.
Yeah, and it leaves their pay-per-view card very bare.
Yeah.
That's the main issue here. That they're going to pack everything into this match, and suddenly we're left with maybe a tag team match, maybe a Rusev match. Rusev more than likely will be involved in that as well in the Authority Team Cena match. So yeah,
that was backstage. So
yeah. It's a lot of this stuff that they could do. It's just get sucked into that main event. So backstage, as you said, Big Show with him. He says that he's pissed off at Mark Henry, but he also wants his friend back. But he also wants to knock him out. So, there was no
Tough
crazy
love. Tough love.
tough love. Yeah, there was no crazy facial expression here from Big Show, and I'm sort of disappointed for that. I mean, Renee Young with Big Show.
Where are we going to get memes from now?
Yeah, come on, Big Show. You've been so generous. So generous on promos. Any gap, by the way, is me drinking beer. I apologise. So, yeah, then it leads into the actual match with Big Show and Mark Henry. And as I say here...
Snore.
Yeah, this was a snore match. It was a bit strange, as I said there before, that they were giving us what could have been a pay-per-view match early because they want to fit it in to...
The Authority Cena match, yeah.
And as I said, it makes the pay-per-view better. That's the thing. And it's only 1 week into this rivalry with Big Show and Mark Henry. But you know what? I guess people don't really care, WWE, with the network being free.
As far as they're concerned, though, like WWE is like, oh, you don't remember, do you? They didn't feud. No, they've never feuded. They've always been friends.
Yeah. So basically, as Matt has said there, that Mark Henry gets the DQ victory here. Gets DQ'd, sorry, by attacking Big Show with the steel steps and World's Strongest slamming on it. The reason why I'm stating that finish so early here, not really stating what happened in the match, is because, as Matt alluded to, it was painfully slow.
Yeah.
It wasn't a horrific match. It was just too slow. And I don't want to get
one thing that I think looks really pathetic. I think a World's Strongest Slam onto the steps looks really poor.
Yeah.
Because there's no fall. It's just straight. It's just like, and I'm just going to put you down here.
Yeah.
You can't throw the guy or anything like that. It's just like, and down you go.
The World's Strongest Slam, it looks most devastating when he's using it on a small guy, someone like Ziggler, that he can literally throw him up into the air and then go down, and Ziggler will bounce around like he's just getting annihilated. But with someone on Big Show, it looks like he's just gently placing him onto said steel steps. But, I get what they're going with here. The match could have been worse. I don't want people to think, oh man, this was really horrific, this was so offensive, this match. It wasn't offensive. It was just slow and not good. I think, it just never got going.
I don't think 400 plus guys should wrestle each other.
Well, I think they could have a match good against each other. I just think 9 times out of 10 they just won't. And would you really want to have that risk involved in that? I wouldn't, personally. But there we are. Maybe that's the reason why they did this match at Raw and not at the pay-per-view, because they weren't convinced, like I said last week.
Give out refunds.
Yeah.
You didn't like that match? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, Big Show's been involved in refunds before with pay-per-views, hasn't he?
That's true.
Let's not forget that. Backstage, Stephanie wants Mark Henry and their team, considering what he just did to Big Show. They chat about Rollins and Orton, what's going to happen. Triple H and Stephanie chatting about that. A transition promo. WWE does love them transition promos. So, there we are. During a mix between this next part, the commentary plugged the network. Fuck you, WWE. You may think this is getting old by now, but it's being old, WWE not launching the fucking thing. That's what we're trying to get over. And then being idiots about it. Renee Young backstage with Brie Bella. Apparently, Nikki comes along and says, you can't have an interview because I haven't told you so.
I haven't approved this.
Yeah, so that's it until Eric Rowan decides, I'm going to play with Renee Young's hair and call her pretty.
Yeah. That was it.
Who knew Rowan had a thing for blondes, huh? Very
the only thing is, I'm kind of fearing, do you remember when we were in school and we did Of Mice and Men? They had Lenny, the big dumb idiot, who just managed to kill a girl just because he was just big and dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, that's where they're going with Rowan.
Yeah. It would be interesting in storyline if he killed Renee Young. That would be going dark, but no, he won't be doing that. But yeah, my only note.
And Ambrose involved.
My only note is obviously that it looks like they're going with some sort of weird stalker thing with Rowan here. But with the Wyatt family, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, I guess.
That's it.
The quote the old Meatloaf song: 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Nikki Bella against Emma is the next match. AJ Lee on commentary. She is one of the better talents that you have for guest commentary. I still remember some of the cringeworthy stuff we had from Big E when he was on commentary.
Ugh.
But AJ Lee's okay. And Paige for her props as well. Normally she's quite interesting on on commentary. I just still don't like people being on commentary when you've got a 3-man commentary booth. It's very hard to get a word in edgeways, and even if you do, it just gets drowned out by the 3 guys at commentary.
Yeah, it's like a bit long.
It kept reminding me time and time again that I can't have the network. Fuck you, WWE. This match is quick and forgettable. There's a lot of those matches on this show, unfortunately.
I found that. I was like, this was quite match heavy for a Raw.
Yeah, but unfortunately there weren't many good ones. It was okay. There wasn't any matches like, but there was a lot of ones that I would forget. If I hadn't done any notes, I probably would have forgotten them already. In regards to that. It ends with a rack attack with Nikki for the win. After the match, Nikki orders Brie to slap AJ, and she does. She,
like a good bitch secretary she is.
Yeah, that's it. Then she gets decked for it, which, as you can imagine, you slap AJ Lee, she ain't going to take that. But all this is happening, and they're building up to Nikki Bella and AJ Lee for the title, and the storyline with the Bellas. And the only person I can see in the ring is Emma, who's just been beaten, and all I see is all that potential lost.
That's it, just seeping away into the mat, just like, it's just wasted.
Yeah. And when you see her now at NXT, she's getting beaten like she's a jobber on NXT as well now.
Yeah, like the complete. It's painful.
It's a sad state of affairs.
But this is what Raw does to you, so you're going to lose here as well. But I was in the final for the NXT Women's Champion. Nah, that doesn't matter anymore.
I watched an episode of Criminal Minds the other night, and you may be thinking, Tony, where are you going with this? Criminal Minds? But it was an episode there where apparently a serial murderer was handing out letters to people like 24 hours before they were going to die.
Okay.
That was the whole thing. I imagine it's the same thing when WWE hands a letter to an NXT talent saying you're being called up to the roster. What it actually means is in 24 hours your career will die.
Okay, yeah.
Unless you're, well, for a diva, that's pretty much how it's going to go.
Unless you're what? Give us a good example, damn it.
Unless you're the Shield, unless you're
or
Paige. Well, no, not even the Wyatts. They've had to do a lot of work with it. To me, the Wyatts aren't established. So fuck the Wyatts, personally.
Yeah.
But
the Shield, okay.
The Shield, yeah. I'd say Paige she's been done okay. I mean, she's got a couple of title reigns under her. She's been constantly involved in storylines, not main event, but in the top diva storylines. She had a very long rivalry with AJ, so she's done okay. And she's better off as a heel than she is a face. But you look at the large list, and we went through this last week, the large list of NXT talents that have just been so misused. Talking of that, though, that's a good segue leading into the next segment, actually. Because one of the guys that we mentioned last week was Xavier Woods, who was brought onto the main roster and then was proceeded to look like R-Truth's sidekick, who would get beaten constantly in matches. And then just
was that Xavier Woods?
It was Xavier Woods.
Oh my god.
Very soulful vignettes.
I'm really not looking forward to it.
So basically, Xavier Woods is dancing like I'm a believer, yeah, kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he's got a choir singing behind him. All very happy. The tagline of the vignette is "A new day is coming." And you may be thinking, oh, okay, maybe does that mean he is doing that faction with Kofi and Big E? Kofi and Big E were nowhere to be seen, so I imagine not. And it's not as if this dominant new faction are coming in, you should be scared, you should take note of them. It's Xavier Woods dancing.
Yeah.
And singing. So, yeah. Let's see where they go with this before I really go mental and say, oh, this is horrible. I'd like to give them at least a little bit of time. But, we'll see.
No.
We'll see. And you're big on Xavier Woods when he first came in. You're saying he's got tons of charisma. He could do something, and then...
I know. I'm so disappointed.
Oh, man. All these guys that you love on the roster just get...
Just...
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Talking of guys done decent from NXT. Man, look at these segues into these segments, man. I'm on form. The beer helps me.
That's it. It helps the flow.
It helps the flow, that's it. Goes down smooth, some say. Zack Ryder against Rusev. Okay, so Zack Ryder stated last week, apparently he's not in the video game. but his Internet Wrestling Championship is. Well, he's on Raw this week, so yeah, be happy, Zack Ryder. He's apparently lobbying for a spot on Cena's team, and why not? The guy boasts an impressive win-loss ratio. He main events regularly, and sorry, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
He was in Team Teddy versus Team Johnny?
I can't do it. I can't do it. I had loads more. I just can't get through it. I can't get through it. I can't. It's just I can't do it. So it's Ryder against Rusev. Matt, do you need a crystal ball to know what happens next?
Crush.
Yeah, essentially that. You know where this is going. Anyone with half a brain cell knows that Rusev is gonna just destroy this guy, and he did. It was over in a matter of a minute.
Moments.
Yeah, moments. Lana cut a promo after the match, which of course lasted longer than the match, stating Rusev will win the US title, and he'll do so on the network. Fuck you, WWE. Which we can't watch because obviously WWE screwed us. So there we go. We weren't able to, I haven't watched the match. I know what happens, and we'll talk about it, but I haven't watched it. How can I? I don't have the network.
No, we're screwed.
Yeah. Rusev says that Sheamus will be annihilated, and obviously this brings out the Irishman. And then he says, "I'll beat you."
Done.
It sounds boring, doesn't it, guys? Because it was. At least he spared us from really bad comedy again. But Sheamus, he'll bust out the bad jokes every now and then. But yeah, this is weird. Another match that you could have saved for the pay-per-view. I mean, the whole him winning the US title, people fearing that he might become the United States champion. It could have been, that's a pay-per-view worthy match in my eyes. But they just gave it to us. And now it looks like these guys are going to be involved. Sheamus more than likely will be on Team Cena, and that's where they're going. Yeah, I know. So, WWE plugged the network again. Matt, you can take this one.
Fuck you, WWE.
There we are. Backstage, Rusev and Lana are greeted by Steph McMahon, who is trying to recruit Rusev into Team Authority. Stephanie McMahon is obviously not a patriot. She doesn't give a shit. She just wants her job to be in good stead.
That's it. Like, come on, you gonna help? Good.
Yeah, that's it. So Lana says that she'll get back to her, and that essentially means that she will.
I don't know how you Americans say. It's like, oh god.
Yeah. One thing I'll say to Lana is just that it's crazy that the woman is American, and I gotta give props to Lana. I always do, because like she's taking lessons daily to get her Russian more believable. And as far as I've heard, apparently she did try and actually get into the ring, but she suffered like some sort of injury while training. But apparently she took to the ring fairly well for someone of her background.
Yeah, but she took quite a bad concussion.
Yeah, which concussions aren't, as we know. I mean, talk to Chris Nowitzki; he will tell you concussions led to Chris Benoit's tragedy. Nothing to really brush aside, especially WWE nowadays don't want to put that stuff aside. But at the end of the day, if this is all Lana's going to do, then I think she's shown that she's willing to go the extra mile to make herself the best she can be in that role. And obviously now she's going to be Russian for the rest of her WWE career, but kudos to the girl. I doubt you
that's how it has to be.
A lot of the other people in the same. Not everyone in the same situation would have done the same dedication to that cause as she has. And you got to give her props for that. I think she does very well. Every now and then her promos come off a bit bad, but that's just WWE handing her a script and saying you do this, and that's the way it goes. Los Matadores guy, that's what I call any of the Matadores guys because I really don't care. Against Stardust. Miz and Mizdow on commentary. And as I said there before, WWE doesn't have a good contender for the tag team title, so they're just throwing everyone out.
There's been a lot of double duty today.
Yeah, it was the Raw double duties, isn't it?
Because Sheamus
Rusev,
Sheamus with Rusev,
Rollins,
Miz. Well, they were in a match, but then they were also on commentary.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of stuff was redone, and you obviously got Orton's all over the show as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, double duty central. You don't often get it that much. Apparently, the reason why they had Rusev and Sheamus pull double duty, they did apparently write another script without them in it, But obviously they didn't have anything that they could.
And then they realised, we're running out of time on Raw.
Yeah, so then that's the reason why they decided to do double duty. It wasn't as if Rusev broke much of a sweat beating Zack Ryder though. But
no, that's true.
there we go. So yeah, as we said there, they're just going to throw everyone into a 4-way tag team match for the belts. I thought originally Usos may have a good chance of being involved in Team Cena, but it looks like they're stacking up a lot of singles guys in there. You've got the likes of Sheamus, Big Show, Ryback, and Ziggler. That looks like what that team is going to be.
Yeah.
So that's where it goes. The main event then, because Triple H gave Orton Seth Rollins, which is what he wanted, said get it out of your system, and that way we'll be stronger as a unit going forward. So Orton, Seth Rollins, this is the main event.
Yep.
So this match is okay. It's not much to get that excited about. Rollins had better main events matches. I will state every single time I see Rollins involved in a main event or ending to Raw, it just further solidifies the fact that this guy, to me, just looks main event like he does.
Yeah, it just further proves, the future. Yes, he is the future.
Yeah. Oh, I remember back in the days when we were talking about the Shield, we were like, Dean Ambrose, he'll be fine. You can put him in multiple roles, he'll be good. Reigns is the de facto future babyface of the company. But Rollins, where is he really going to go? I can see him falling into obscurity. You look at him now, he's the one that looks the most professional main event out of all of them. The one that could walk into that role most.
I think half of it is, unfortunately, with Reigns getting injured.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, obviously, Rollins goes a different path. With him being the heel, it opens up a lot of doors for him.
Yeah.
But it was almost ironic because I remember us doing that episode. We were talking about, we're a bit worried about Rollins. We like the guy, but really, where is he going to go? WWE probably won't use him. And it was like after we said that, it was the matches that he started having with the likes of Evolution after WrestleMania. We're like, this is the guy that's actually impressing us more than the other two.
Yeah.
And look where he's come now, man. That guy is on a very healthy career track, very
Definitely.
much so. And he's finishing. He main evented the last pay-per-view. He's been involved in a lot of main event matches recently.
He's the captain.
Yeah, he's the captain.
Team Authority.
That's it. So essentially, like I said, the match isn't that good. Okay, and it ends a lot quicker than you would
was really
imagine.
disappointing because recently we've been saying Orton can have good matches if given the right person, and I was like, this could be the right person. Oh, yeah. No, well, that was a bit shit.
Yeah, and it never really got
disappointing.
To
that point. Yeah. It was kind of like the Ambrose Cesaro. It's like, where's the next gear? Where's the next gear? It's
over. Yeah, it's done. I will state though that Rollins got the win here with a backslide pin. I was like, wow. That's a little bit different from the most devastating.
I just realised, did we actually have the most devastating move in all of history?
Here's going to shock you. This show, we had no finish by the most devastating finishing move in wrestling history. The schoolboy was not used.
Shit.
Wow. Well, it was used, but it didn't finish people.
My world is over.
It is. Maybe WWE are trying to treat us because they've treated us so badly. They're trying to give us something there. I doubt it. Maybe they're just. So yeah, after the match, they want everyone to, everyone to shake hands. Everyone to be on the same page. That was the plan. They get out of the system. Orton shakes the hands of Mercury and Noble and Kane, who are in the ring.
And then I could see that RKO a mile away.
Yeah, the RKO. He steps one short with Rollins, gives him an RKO instead. He goes for the punt. Triple H tries to stop him, does stop him, but then just gets a forearm to the face for his trouble.
To be perfectly honest, I was like, and now Triple H is going to get RKO'd. He just got punched.
He got punched.
Oh.
Yeah. And then that pretty much solidified his excommunication from the Authority, and this signifies the final part of his face turn, in my eyes.
What I quite liked is the fact that it genuinely looked like Triple H was sort of like, I don't really want to do this, because he was sort of like, no, this isn't how we're going to do it. This isn't how we do it. And then there's Stephanie just like, deal with it.
Yeah, finish it. Yeah, I thought Triple H was alright here. In fact, this was a good Raw for Triple H, I have to say.
Yeah.
And he kind of sold that story well, the history that he has with Orton. So yeah, no, I'm all up for trips this week. So we won't be tweeting our displeasure directly to him, but to WWE about the network, because fuck you, WWE.
Exactly.
So yeah, basically after a brief struggle, Orton gets curb stomped on the announcement table, and then he gets curb stomped on the steel steps. This writes him off for at least a couple of weeks. I imagine it would be until after Survivor Series. He's
Yeah,
going
whilst
off to
he
go
films
film.
The Condemned 2.
Yeah, that's what he's going to go do.
Which we really should have taken into account when we were doing our Hell in a Cell predictions. Because it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, he'll win. Oh, he's going off to do a film. He's not going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a way that they can write him off, TV. I'm okay with it. At least it's selling the curb stomp as something that can legitimately, for a long
Well,
time.
yeah,
injure
if
people.
it took Ambrose out for a month, then it's going to take Randy Orton out. So, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Granted, it has to be on something, but...
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I think that's okay. And if as long as I don't trust WWE in terms of keeping that going, they might. If he face stomps John Cena on the steel steps, you can guarantee that guy's going to show up next week without a single problem. But
Cena.
I would like it if they did keep it up, and if Rollins wants to finish you, he can. He has that in his arsenal. He can write you off TV for a couple of weeks.
I quite like if they sort of switched. I like the curb stomp. I'd quite like if they switched it to become like Randy Orton's punt.
Yeah, I mean the punt was eventually just sometimes he'll punt people and they'll just pop back up next week, and that's what kind of damaged it. He hasn't used it as much recently, and that's why I still think nowadays it does come over a bit better because he hasn't punted someone for so long. Now you get the feeling if he does punt someone, they are going to get written off. They won't be on TV for a while.
That's it, and it's sort of like then to become like Rollins' way of cementing, I'm done with you, sort of thing.
Yeah. I like it. I personally liked it, and I did like the way that the turn hit. I did like it. It had a very... It was very thematic, I thought, in the terms of them just... It was an excommunication. It was the authorities' way of just, okay, we don't want you, Orton. You've written your own death warrant. We're going to take you out of the picture.
Yeah.
And I genuinely quite enjoyed the end of that. And, yeah...
And more Crimson!
Yeah, he was bloodied up on this. Obviously not too much. He wasn't as if he was Ric Flair profusely bleeding everywhere.
But enough for when WWE showed it on the internet, it was in black and white.
Black and white, yeah. But as you said there, Matt, we thought this was a good week for Trips. Trips sold this all the way to the very end. That he didn't want this to go that far, and he didn't like the finality of it. But it had to be done. And fair play to the guy.
I quite liked it just because it sort of gave that sort of he's been through evolution and all things in the past, and it's just I don't want to do this. But then there's just Stephanie, just deal with it. Yeah. It's well, that's what the bitch says.
Well, no, I guess with Triple H, it's well, I've tried my best to stop him. Obviously, he's just going mental. He attacked me. He's attacked everyone. Yeah, I don't like it, but it has to be done. That's the way I like it, the way it comes across. But yeah, again, I want to sing the praises of Rollins. The guy looks like a main event star. He really does, and yeah,
that's it.
Wow.
I mean, long may that continue.
Hopefully, we can look back in 10 years' time. Hopefully, we're still doing this podcast in 10 years' time. That would be awesome. But in 10 years' time, we can look back and say, wow, the Shield, that had WWE's future in one stable right there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can say that. So, that's the show this week. We end with Orton decimated and the Authority somewhat standing tall, but obviously broken because they've lost one of their top guys.
In a hunt for new men.
Hunt for new guys, yeah. New talent, new recruits into their group. Obviously, Mark Henry looks like he's going to be joining them. And
possibly Rusev.
Yeah, possibly. I imagine Rusev probably will. I thought Raw was a mixed bag. I think that WWE has done a decent job of removing the outright horrific segments that we had in some of the weeks preceding, going forward from there. They've had quite a few Raws now in a row where they haven't had a Kathy Lee Gifford or
Hodo.
Hodor. or, JBL.
The worst part is, I genuinely thought that Xavier Woods New Day is coming. I thought it's oh god, there's going to be a gospel choir next week. Yeah. They've had, and this guy's going to be here, and it's just some person who's just sat in the crowd. Yeah. It's just oh, okay. So next week some gospel choir is going to be there. Oh, it's a video. Oh, goody.
Yeah. Well, here's the one thing, right? We did have a comment stating, this Raw was awesome because Cena wasn't in it, and we're stating that this Raw wasn't as good as the majority of people think. In fact, some of the stuff was a bit boring. It was a bit of a tame.
But this Raw could not have been improved by Cena.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. It can't. John Cena being there wouldn't have done it that much justice. Maybe it would have got a little bit more attention, in regards to their generic
Cena there would have
fans.
served no purpose though,
Yeah,
other than to like be the backstage. Like the key focus of this Raw was
Orton.
Rollins and Orton.
Yeah.
And Cena would have served no purpose.
Yeah, I thought Cena not being there gave room for the likes of the characters of Triple H and Orton to have some decent character progression. And I thought that was okay. I really did. I think the way they've done Orton's excommunication from the Authority, I thought it was done very well, as I said there. So maybe having Cena there would have damaged that. We don't know. But I don't honestly.
I don't know whether it would have damaged. I just don't think we'd have had. It would have had the time to be put through as so well.
But maybe a lot of people were like, oh, there's some good parts on this show. Yeah, there is, but 3 hours will kill Raw eventually. It doesn't matter who's on the show. You've got John Cena, you've got old stars coming back. 3 hours is too much, regardless of who you have. You can have in prime John Cena, you can have in prime The Rock, in prime Steve Austin. Doesn't matter who you've got. You can have all the best talent in the world. 3 hours is too much. It is too much to have. And I will state that. And hopefully WWE just revert back to 2 hours. It'll be easier on the creative team. I can trust you. We'll get a better show overall.
So one thing I just don't understand is just sort of like you go down to a local indie show. It's not a 3 hour show.
No, because 3 hours is too long. Just outright, it really is. And even on a local indie show that you and me have been to our fair few amounts, they would often do an hour, then a short 15-minute recess, and then they'll do an hour. They'll give the people who they give their audience a break.
Yeah.
Now you could say WWE has constant advertisement breaks, but I mean 3 hours is just too much. There's no. Sometimes Raw doesn't seem like it's going to end, and that's really a shame.
Like I do find myself quite frequently just flicking just to see it's like how much is actually left.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not afraid to say that I do the same sometimes. So, 3 hours of Raw. We've just been stating 3 hours of Raw is way too much. Well, apparently WWE were going to give you something more because they wanted to plug the network. Fuck you, WWE. For Rusev going against Sheamus for the United States Championship.
Immediately after.
Yeah. There was only two ways this was going to end. Either Rusev, loses via disqualification.
Yeah, it would either be DQ or title.
DQ or title, and they went with title. Because they are trying to plug the network. So I didn't see the match. I can't review it. It could have been shit. It could have been fantastic. I don't know. But Rusev is the champion, and as I said earlier on, it actually makes the belt useful. And it hasn't been useful for a while. It hasn't been useful for the better part of 5 years. In fact, it's dragged people down. It's been a dead weight. The belt, it's not been useful. At least with Rusev, it can be storyline useful for the guy, which is more than it's ever been, in recent history, which is sad for that belt when you look at some of the classic people that have had it,
And some of the classic bouts for it.
Yeah, exactly. But, this is the modern era. The US title is probably worth more than dog shit. But in Rusev's hands, it's a storyline tool, and that's exactly how it should be used. So, I'm all for it with him having the title. And as I said, it should have happened months ago. My opinion. In all fairness, the way I would have liked to have seen it done, maybe when I can't remember if it's maybe Rusev wasn't firmly, hasn't had a couple of matches under his belt yet. Maybe he wins the belt against Dean Ambrose, to drop it then. Maybe that was too early. They wanted to put it up. I understand that, but just make a way that he could have got the belt a couple of months ago. I guarantee you would have built up the profile of his matches against Mark Henry and Big Show tremendously. That they're trying to get that damn belt back in the hands of the US.
Yeah, back in the hands of an American.
It just writes itself. So, yeah, we couldn't see it. We can't review it. But that's what happened. And yeah, I agree. I think it's the right move. I just think it should have been done a while back. So, there we are.
Yeah.
Final segment of the show. We've been here for a long time now, well over 2 hours of the show. And we are talking about We Were Wrong, We Were Damn Wrong. And our We Were Wrong, We Were Damn Wrong refers back to last week. Wow, maybe thinking, wow, sometimes you go very, very far back. Where are you going last week? I'm going to play a clip of what we said last week, stating that myself and Matt were excited to review the network. We're gonna play it for you now. Ready? So there you go. Me and Matt were excited to review the network, but something happened. You may have noticed it all the way throughout this podcast. it wasn't released over here. Fuck you, WWE.
Now deal with the UK Fury on your live tour.
Yeah. You put out a very good tweet. I caught your tweet stating what creative chants that the UK fans can come up with. I hope that there's some doozies in there. And apparently they did air Vince's apology about the network at the live shows, and apparently it was booed out of the building.
Yeah.
So
That's just at a live show. Oh,
talk about
live
timing it wrong. Yeah, like timing it wrong though. Like just before you're about to go on a UK.
That's
tour.
it.
Oh dear. We talked about times before, just not just last week, we're talking about times before that they spent so long getting the network launched over here. Their numbers are crap for the network at the moment. They've not been getting that many, and the launch of the network in the UK would outright help them. There's no getting around that. It would help them dramatically, but they just can't fucking launch it. For some reason, they keep making loads of mistakes. They haven't launched it already. They did not communicate well enough with Sky. They thought they could launch it and then decided, no, we're not going to, because Sky are basically telling us off, and they're going to give us a subservice, product that we're going to get.
Yeah.
We've gone through this a lot before, but I hope this drives home to the fact that how annoyed myself and Matt are. This segment here was meant to be about the network. Me and Matt were going to review loads of stuff. I was going to go back and watch SummerSlam 2002, Money in the Bank 2011, a bunch of Royal Rumbles. I was going to watch them. I was going to go and watch the Brock Lesnar Hardcore Holly title match from a Royal Rumble back in the day.
Yeah. The amount of times we kept saying, like, we'll go back and WrestleMania 13 is like the first one we'll do. No, that'll wait.
No, can't do that. Yeah. And it's just a real shame. We were really excited to review the network. I know a lot of you guys have watched it and want to know our thoughts on what we think the network needs to go to a certain point. And we fully agree with you. We wanted to do that. And this is the time where you state in the comments what we've been stating all along in this podcast. Fuck you, WWE. Do it on this episode, and we'll be more than happy just to, a whole stream of fuck you, WWE. Especially if you're British, because you're the one getting done over. Or maybe you're Irish. I live in Ireland, and I'm under the same banner.
That's it.
So that's what I like. If you are English as well, or Irish, if you're of these collection of isles, so we say, and you're caught in the same situation as us, tell us if you actually are going to get the network. Are you going to go buy the network now? Why are you going to buy the network? We'd love to hear if anyone's got a really good sort of response to that. Maybe you're just as pissed off as we are.
Jesus.
We'll be happy to hear if you are just as pissed off as we are. We'd love to hear your thoughts on whether or not WWE's really stupid handling of the subject has actually put you off of buying the network entirely. I wouldn't blame you, for people thinking that way, and for all the stuff that me and Matt said, we said WWE don't cater to the international audience enough, but we held back. When stuff like this happens, and yet we do the joke sometimes, we call them American wrestling entertainment. It just comes off that way so bad. It really does. However, is there anything else that you want to say about that, Matt?
I can't think of anything, no.
The 50th episode spectacular is in the bank, ladies and gentlemen. We are done. Lots of stuff here, wrestling chat for you to go for. We didn't want to make this just abusively long because we want to make it, it would be a bit bad of us to say 3 hours of Raw is too much and give you a 3-hour podcast. But it is our 50th episode, so we hope you guys did enjoy the special. And like I said, the new lick of paint. Matt, you love the graphics. You signed off on them there. And like I said, the intro won't always be as long as I wanted to make it more thematic. Here's a bit of homework for our fans. Can you name which theme that extra long intro was from? Because it's from
part.
Yeah. It's like the first minute of that intro, of the new intro. Can you name what wrestler that was used for? Someone's bound to get it right, because it's one of my favourite themes. That's why I put it in there. So, there we are. Anything else you want to go through, Matt, before we close up this show?
No.
Close it up. Let's do it. Thank you guys for joining along with us for the 50th episode. And, all the brand new changes and everything along those lines. Leave a comment if you want to ask us a question for the next episode. I'm a little bit tipsy. I'm going to go drink some more beers and celebrate with my 50 balloon right next to me. And yeah, thank you again, all you guys, for all the guys that support the show. We'd love if you can continue to keep supporting the show. We'd love to keep growing. And who knows, maybe we'll be having questions from the likes of, Thomas Miller, Man Rikita, Bacco, and you guys that have been supporting the show. And maybe we'll have questions from you in 50 questions time, 50 episodes time, in our 100th episode, which we will get to.
That's it.
We'll definitely answer your guys first because you've always been with us. So, but apart from that, thanks a lot, guys. 50th episode down. Move on to the next one. We've got our year anniversary in 2 weeks, and we've got our best of. Lots of stuff planned. But we hope you guys have a great week, and we hope that you enjoyed this special episode.
That's it.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Alright, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.